what do you know that every scout and coach on earth does not?
You're supposed to be some kind of expert.
How do you know these things?
You mean I'm right?
Oh boy, is this great!
Yeah. Well, which way did it go, George? Which way did it go?
Well, that was awkward.
Yes, it was.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast coverage of the 2025 NFL Draft. I'm here with our usual suspects, Bob Quinn, Trent King is here with us. David Korb should be here any minute. I don't know what he's doing at this point, but guys, we're going to have a special guest, by the way, at 8 o'clock. Jaguars radio announcer Joe Coward. He's going to come on and talk a little bit of those early picks for us. Before that, what do you guys think? How are we feeling? Who do we think the Steelers are going to take? Trent, you kick us off. Who do you think? Who are you thinking at 21?
I think if Shedeur Sanders is there, I think he's going to end up being their pick. He's not my personal preference, but I do think that's the route they're going to go with this one. If it's up to me, I would take Kenneth Grant. I think Kenneth Grant's the best defensive tackle in the class personally. I might be a little higher than some on that, but I think it's Sanders all the way if he's available.
Bob, what about you?
I was talking to my brother earlier, who's a huge Cowboys fan, and he actually is praying that they take Shedeur at 12. And I was like, I don't know.
The Cowboys take Shedeur?
Yeah, he's a little bit out on Prescott, and he did make a good point. Prescott tore that hamstring off the bone, and is it as bad as an Achilles? Maybe not, but Shedeur is, for certain parts of the fan base, and if you're a Cowboys fan, I could really understand why you would want Shedeur Sanders. Yesterday, I was 80-20 that if Shedeur's there, it's us. But I listened to Nick Farabaugh this morning on the Starkey show, and he's a friend of the show. And the more he talked, the more I thought, well, geez, he thinks if Nolan is gone, that means that running back is in play. And if Hampton goes to Denver, that leaves Trevion Henderson, which he did not dismiss. So I still think we probably should take the quarterback at 21. The one thing I really found interesting is if a trade back happens, he was pretty convinced that means Jalen Milroe is a Steeler.
I got a text this morning from somebody who, I'm not going to say source, but a guy who's given me some pretty good information in the past. He said either Nolan or Kenneth Grant, and if they're gone, it's going to be a running back. And Trevion Henderson is one of the running backs that they're thinking. I was talking to Trent before. He's heard that the Steelers don't have any interest in Nolan, which kind of tracks because they didn't have him in for a visit. They weren't at the pro day. So it could be Grant, Harmon, or running back, or Shedeur. Obviously, that's also a possibility. I do think, and I put this in my last mock on Wednesday, just because I started putting all the pieces together. And if this Shedeur thing's a smokescreen, and we've had Jalen Milroe connected to them before, I would not be shocked if Jalen Milroe is the pick, either through a trade back or at 21. Mike Tomlin has said a couple times that he thought they were too predictable over the last couple of years, and he's trying to be more coy. I just have a feeling. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I'm on record. I don't want a quarterback in this draft. You could talk me into a 4th, 5th round pick. That's fine, but I do not want one in the first round. I don't care if it's Dart, my guy, Shedeur. I don't want any of them.
Trevion Henderson would be interesting because I think it would be such a reach at 21. And his best years at Ohio State weren't the first 3 when he was more of a featured back. It was last year with Quinshon Judkins as a split-time carry back, and you could use him in a 15, maybe 20 touch type of guy, but 15 touches for him is like the sweet spot. And that's not like a pick at 21, in my opinion, for a running back. That's a guy that you'd want to get in the second round for that kind of value. But dude is as explosive as anybody on the football field. So that's kind of interesting. I'm a Ohio State dude. I love Trevion Henderson, but I think that'd be a huge reach at 21.
It's kind of the Jahmyr Gibbs thing though, right? That kind of back, that explosive, maybe teams see that
more than once today.
Yeah, and think, boy, we'd love to have that. And he went top 15, right? Jahmyr Gibbs top
12. He was 12, right after 5 picks after Bijan.
because I remember telling Dave early on in the process that I would love to see maybe the Steelers grab Gibbs in the second, and all of a sudden he became a first-round prospect, and all of a sudden he was a top 12, and it was like, Jesus Christ, what happened here? But I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be too upset if Trevion Henderson was the pick. You know me, I want offense. I want playmakers all day. So I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Browns for a minute. What the fuck are they about to do? They're going to trade this second pick and move back. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
I mean, it's been buzzing in Jacksonville all day. I mean, this kind of came out of the blue. I mean, yeah,
So-
I think everybody wants Travis Hunter. I totally get it, but this big push, if they do push up, the Brownsiest thing ever to trade this pick to the Jags. If they do push up and get Travis Hunter, you got Brian Thomas, you got Travis Hunter to play the occasional, hey, go down the field guy. Jags will play him at corner. I mean, he's definitely a corner, but I think that is a spot where he could play two places.
I think the Browns being the Browns is the best way to describe that. Like, how would you pass up on a possible generational talent like that and just trade out of the spot? I mean,
It's insane.
that would rank right up there with like what they just did with Deshaun Watson. Would it not? Like, and with seriously, it's
So
like
it tracks, right? It's a Browns thing. for
It is
sure.
an absolute Browns move.
I mean, we were talking in the chat while you were away, Bob, and it's like, all right, if you don't like Travis Hunter, whatever, you're stupid, but whatever, then you take Abdul Carter and you have Carter and Myles Garrett as your bookend edge rushers. You got a defense that's phenomenal. What? You trade back to 5. Where are you now? You're
Unless
Genty?
well, unless you're 1,000,000% sold on Shador, because there is talk. There was also talk
5?
though.
Oof.
I heard today several experts say that if the Steelers want Milroe, which I don't think any of us do. I'm pretty sure nobody in the chat does either. But if we did get Milroe, then it'd be pretty scary. But the Browns want Milroe, from what we heard earlier today, was that they're serious about trading up or getting him with the first pick or 33rd pick.
They might have to get in front of the Steelers for that. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff I heard today that people are dying to get in front of the Steelers to get Shador Sanders. So, I mean, the Giants, the Browns, like you said. So it's gonna be interesting night. They should be in discussions to trade down with these teams instead of having teams trying to trade ahead of them. They should be telling them, this pick's for sale. Come get it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. We see you comfortable
Welcome to the show,
on the
Dave.
couch.
Dave's cracking one already. I feel
It's
like
time, baby.
Some of
It's
us are
time.
going
like
to wait
the old
to
man. I'm
start
still drinking
drinking.
coffee. It's coming.
Oh,
So,
and
Dave, what
by
do you
the way,
think? All right, go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, by the way, if you haven't joined the Draft Bash contest yet,
Still got a few minutes.
you still got a few minutes. We're going to extend this all the way out until the first pick is made. One thing I did want to coach everybody up on, if you're saying higher or lower on Cam Ward, and I change this for everybody, so it's a freebie. There is no way Cam Ward can be higher on the CBS rankings than the number 1 pick, because he's ranked 8th or 10th. So I have changed that in there. In the first couple of picks, we'll kind of see, if you said Travis Hunter, we kind of know what you meant there. It starts to, when you get down to the Steelers picks, though, sorry, no grace. I mean, at that point.
I'm not worried about winning, Bob. I'm drinking icy light mangoes, watching the draft. I'm a winner either way. There's so much winning going on right now downstairs. I can't almost contain myself here. Like this is peak DMC3 right here. This is it.
So, Dave, I asked everybody else, who do you think they're picking 21?
I think if Walter Nolan falls, they're taking him.
Yeah, see, we were talking about. There hasn't been a lot of interest in Walter Nolan. Like, no pro day, no top.
I know, but I don't know
Smokescreen?
if this is smoke screen. I don't know. Look, I I don't know if they're just, like I said, they're trying to get better at this, not making it obvious what they want. If Eminore falls, do they take him? Is he the guy? Like, there's a couple guys here. Like, if they fall, I'm like, is that the actual targets they want? I don't know.
This is the first time in a long time that it's been like that, is it not? I mean, you kind of have an idea of at least position. I mean, you could probably roll off like 5 positions, and I'd be like, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
right.
They've done a really good job of not making this obvious. For once,
I've gone all over the place, round and round, trying to figure this out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just don't have any idea what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, I get it.
This is the first year we do like a real best player available situation. Like they're not really looking at a position. I don't know.
That'd be phenomenal. Just take. Hey, if Omarion Hampton's the best guy on the board, the DLs are gone. Just take him. I know running back's not the desired position in the first round, but in this draft, I was telling somebody this on Twitter earlier. In this draft, it's gonna happen where you're looking at the board and the running back's the best player. Now, does that go against your philosophy, or you have to change your philosophy in this draft because it's such a weird draft?
Yeah, no doubt.
Can't wait.
Okay, so it looks like we have our first guest of the evening.
Yep.
We could kind of talk about this Travis Hunter situation.
Right.
Dave, you want to do the intro?
Yep. Joe, how you doing? We have a special guest here, Joe Coward. He is the host of XL Primetime 1010 on 92 FM in Jacksonville. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I know you guys are fired up. You got to wait a little while longer than I have to wait. Who knows what's going to happen, whether the Jaguars are going to trade up or trade down. But honestly, it's been such an exciting time for Duval with all the changes that have taken place. It was stale, it was old, and now there's a lot to look forward to.
You hearing anything about this trade up with the Browns? Is this going to happen with the Jaguars?
All right, so I'm trying to root out what is real and what isn't. And you guys know, following the Steelers forever, that you have line season, which basically takes place all the way up to the draft. At the like kind of close to the draft, you might hear a little more truth as opposed to fiction. And I'm trying to figure out whether or not Jacksonville's trying to bait other teams to come to them and say, hey, if you want Ashton Jeanty, you're going to have to trade in and do something to make us happier. And I'm just thinking to myself, I would not trade up and try and risk a lot of draft picks for the future and try and get perhaps a Travis Hunter, which is what everyone's talking about, and Cleveland perhaps taking phone calls to move from 2 to 5, drop back and see what they can collect capital-wise. I just don't like it. The value, while it's tremendous with Travis Hunter, what they have to give up just seems way too unreasonable for me for a football team that's trying to recover from a dismal 4-13 season, and beyond that, just a poor roster.
Joel, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's any validity to the other rumor with the Bears trying to come up to the Jags and you guys going maybe 10-39?
Yeah, I would love the draft capital if they were to move back. So basically what we're looking at right now, fellas, is just the idea of, does Jacksonville want to move up? Do they want to go after Travis Hunter, a real prized possession that they think can play cornerback and lock up one side of the field opposite Tyson Campbell and maybe opposite Brian Thomas Jr., be a dynamic player in the receiving game? That's one scenario. The other scenario is saying, hey, Chicago, Vegas, Denver, whoever it might be, come and get this 5th pick. It's a 5-player draft. At least that's what some people are suggesting. And so if you want Ashton Jeanty, we don't necessarily need him as bad as you do. And if Chicago were to jump up there and do that, think of what they've done, guys. They've added a lot of offensive linemen in the offseason to try and improve the front for whoever they're handing the ball off to help Caleb Williams. And you look at a couple of draft scenarios that take place where they pick up an extra pick early 2nd round. Jacksonville moves from 5 to 10. I'm not against that at all, especially if Jacksonville is eyeing maybe a Mason Graham, somebody like that could come in and immediately help the defensive line of scrimmage. So I'm a better on that more than I am Jacksonville moving up.
Any credence to this Pac-Man Jones thing with they were going to trade Trevor Lawrence, and can we get that done to Pittsburgh immediately?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Look, I know that Trevor still represents tremendous upside, and Pittsburgh doesn't have a signal caller that they really have a whole heck of a lot of faith in. I don't think you guys want to roll into 2025 with a Mason Rudolph and a Skylar Thompson. I just don't think you're going to go down that road. But this thing has been kind of put out there a couple of times. You can remember back earlier in the offseason, and then with the Pac-Man chatter that's come out, Trevor Lawrence is not going to be dealt, at least not right now. It's a favorable contract for Jacksonville. They brought Liam Cohen in to basically rescue this franchise offensively, give Trevor a chance to finally be what everyone expects him to be, and that was that generational pick that they described. So, no, I don't believe he's going anywhere. They want to arm him with weapons. I do believe when it's all said and done, through tonight and tomorrow night, you better get a couple of bigs, an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, either a running back or a wide receiver, something like that, to where you walk into Saturday saying, you know what, Trevor's got a better chance to succeed here in Duval and be the guy that everyone thought he was going to be.
So if Jacksonville stays put, who do you think the selection will be?
All right, I hate to say this because it's kind of boring, but I feel like we've gone 100 or 360 degrees around, and we started with Mason Graham, and I think we're going to end up with Mason Graham. Now, I may be all wet here, but I feel like James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, while they want to be bold, they're still thinking about what they've done in free agency, what they've done so far in this offseason, and they've hardly addressed the defensive interior line. They haven't touched it. And so they still need to make sure that they do something to be better at the line of scrimmage. So I'm going to go Mason Graham with the 5th pick. If they can entice Chicago to come in, they'll pick up an extra second rounder. They can still possibly get Mason Graham 10th in the draft. But I still think they've added offensive linemen. They still need to improve the defensive line, particularly on the interior. I'm going to go Mason Graham.
That's been the prevailing thing. I've seen a lot of mocks is Mason Graham. I saw a little Genty pop up there for a while in some of the mocks. That'd be super interesting for them. But
yeah, look, I would love it if they were able to reach for him and say, hey, we need to give Trevor Lawrence a running back that's legit, that's a major weapon. But this offensive line is nowhere near where it should be. They are second to last in the NFL in yards before contact, second only to the Carolina Panthers. So if you put Ashton Genty in this backfield, he's probably going to get hit in this backfield because they need guys up front that are going to start to block and protect. And I would just hate to waste a guy like that. I saw a stat. We were talking about it on our show earlier today. 15 of the last 19 Super Bowl winners have had rushing leaders that have had less than 1,000 yards for the season. That does tell a story. Saquon kicked butt, 2,000 yards. We all know that. But we know what this game is today. It's pass the football, make sure you get down the field vertically, and then hand the ball off when you need to. I just would rather them improve the line of scrimmage and then get a running back later.
Makes a lot of sense.
Pittsburgh knows all about drafting running backs with no offensive line.
Yeah, we're familiar with that.
Think about it. When Liam Cohen was down in Tampa, they took Bucky Irving 125th, 126th, something like that.
It's a great
in
pick,
the 4th round. They turned him into a bona fide bulldozer in the running game, and he could come out of the backfield, catch the pass on the wheel route, but he definitely was sturdy when it came to the run game because they had a very good offensive line. And I think Liam understands that. I hope they don't bite on the Ashton Genty idea and not fix that offensive line. If you were to pick him 5th and then come back in the 2nd round and pick an interior offensive lineman that is of value, that can come in immediately and start to move people around, then I probably would be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, and based on the picks with 536, 70 and 88, you're in prime Damian Martinez territory. I don't know if you guys have watched him closely, but that's a guy who, if you tandem him with ATN, or if you think they're moving on in Bigsby. I think that could be very interesting for the Jaguars.
I don't think that's a bad pick. I'll go back to Bucky Irving. He was the 6th running back taken in last year's draft. So if you go to Martinez, you go to any of these guys that are a little further down the draft board that aren't as high in terms of draft capital that you have to use to get them, it makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. Because let's just say you went with Martinez, and let's just say he comes in the 3rd round, 4th round, wherever you ultimately find him. But before that, you've drafted an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, whatever. How they have 2 third-round picks along with the 2nd and the 1st round. So if they strengthen their offensive and defensive lines, they help Trevor with giving him a good, solid guy they can hand the ball off to. I'm not giving up on Tank Bigsby with an improved offensive line, or for that matter, Travis Etienne with an improved offensive line. So I'd rather see them go in that area first, and then maybe take a look at a Martinez a little bit later.
So I think we got to ask the big question to settle the debate that Dave and I have been having for seems like 6 months.
6 years.
Yeah. How do you feel about Shedeur Sanders?
All right, listen, I know that this is where you guys want to be and where most of Steeler Nation is focused in on. And I'm just going to say this. And 2 things have popped in my head over the last handful of days, weeks, and months leading up to the draft. Shedeur represents, I think, a guy that can come in and run a very good offense. He represents star power. He represents the ability to improvise, deal with a poor offensive line, make plays. But you guys have all heard the book on him, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but I know this. He completed a high percentage of passes. He had a poor offensive line. He was able to make plays when need be. But the critics are going to point out he doesn't drive the football. He doesn't necessarily have the arm strength that you would like to have. And so I'll present this question back to you guys. Do you want to be in a world in the AFC North where you don't have a quarterback that can combat Lamar, Joe Burrow, and the AFC North? So you guys are stuck in a tough spot. You either need to make a decision and pick him in the middle of the 1st round or pass on him, maybe Tyler Shook later. I don't know exactly where you guys might go, but that is a heck of a tough question.
Yeah, it's a thing we argue about constantly.
Yeah.
It just seems like if you're drafting a quarterback in this draft, you're settling.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not going to be, especially in the AFC where you've got Mahomes and all these other guys. If you're taking, and I love Jackson Dart, but even I'm willing to admit it's a level down from where you need to be to compete in the AFC. I mean, I think it's. Some people are higher on Shedeur Sanders. I know Bob is, and I see people all over online that think he's going to be great. I don't see it, but I could be wrong.
I think the thing I worry about more than anything else, and I'm just trusting the guys that are evaluating the film more than I am, is the ability to stay in the pocket, drive the football down the field, hit either the boundary routes or in the seams. And a lot of his passes and high completion percentage were around the line of scrimmage. And I think that's just a little worrisome. And I don't know, Kenny Pickett a couple of years ago, was he any different in your mind than Shedeur is right now? I just don't think they were that much different, or Jackson Dart for that matter.
Joe, I love you.
I just feel like, and I'll throw one more at you guys. Mike Tomlin is the head coach. Shedeur Sanders comes in and becomes the quarterback. How long before Deion wants to be the head coach of his son and quarterback?
Hopefully soon.
What I want to know is how do you feel about Bo Nix?
All right, I was wrong about Bo. I will admit that. Last year, I thought, I felt like he was completing a lot of passes against Pac-12 defenses, which wasn't necessarily the best defenses to face compared to the SEC. I was wrong. He married up with a very, very good offensive mind in Sean Payton, and we'll see where it goes. But for the most part, he was smart. He took the profit in terms of his shorter throws. He was aggressive when he needed to be. Defenses might have caught up with him a little bit later in the year, but honestly, I really feel like he was a hell of a lot better than I thought he would be. He was a nice surprise. And so if you're looking at maybe comparing him to a Dart or a Sanders, that's not a bad comp.
Reason why I asked this, Joe, is because per this website that I was using for the draft, it had done player comps, and Bo Nix was a player comp for a ton of these quarterbacks in the draft.
Kind of became a running joke on the quarterback
Yeah.
preview podcast we did. Everybody was Bo Nix.
Yeah, and maybe it's because we didn't know what Bo Nix was on the NFL level until he came and stepped on the NFL stage in a Broncos uniform. Because I called him Duck Bo. Duck Bo, really good. War Eagle Bo, not so good. Because
That's true.
Yeah, SEC
That's
defense
very
is
true.
just, they wore him out. And so Sean Payton has proven that he can take a really, really solid guy, smart guy, heady, not going to burn you with dumb decisions, and he can make him a good player. And so now you got to figure out that next decision. Jackson Dart, I feel like could be that player. I honestly don't know if Shador is that player. I just haven't seen him enough to know 100% that you can say, hey, let's roll the dice and bank on him.
All right, Joe, I appreciate you coming on. Draft's getting ready to start, so I'm sure you want to get going.
I'm looking over here at the draft board, just seeing what's happening.
Tennessee's on the clock.
It's going to go down.
We really appreciate you coming on, giving us some insight about the Jags and early on in the draft. You could come on anytime. You've been a great guest. We really appreciate you coming on.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have fun. Enjoy the night.
Thank you. You too.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
All right, boys. We're about to get this party started.
They're showing Shador right now. What a throw.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. It's too early for that shit. You stop the Shador.
You think I'm bad now? Wait till I'm 10 beers in.
So it seems interesting that, man, Cleveland, I'm still not over the Cleveland trade down. I guess we're going to find out within the next 15, 20 minutes, but I cannot believe they would do this.
Is number 2 in play? They're going to trade number 2?
That's what they're talking about. They're talking about trading down.
Dude.
I mean, if they did trade up, you almost had to believe that it would be for Travis Hunter. But I think Joe made a good point. I mean, they need the trenches. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done on that football team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Warren Sharp actually just posted 7 minutes ago. It said Brown's trying to trade down to 5 and then trade down from 5 to 10 or lower.
What?
Now, if they're going to trade down twice, then they're going after Shador.
They're definitely going to take Shador at 10 and pick up some draft capital. And if they
That'd
really
be my
believe
guess.
he's a franchise quarterback, it kind of makes sense. But then
That's the
what
only
if
way
somebody
you do that move. That's the only way you do that move.
What if somebody snipes him and trades up at 9 and grabs Shador and they've been fucking doing all this? That would be hilarious.
It's just meant to be.
Wait.
It's fine.
Yeah, if they drop to 10, then that's behind New Orleans too. That's risky.
That is risky.
That's risky. I know everyone says that New Orleans doesn't like Shador. They like Jackson Dart or to trade back, but phew, that's risky.
Yeah.
Then you're at 10, no Shador Sanders that you really wanted. What do you do then?
You and Bob both had what? Them taking who in the first round? Was it Amenore?
What, the Steelers?
Browns?
No, Steelers.
No, I had him in worry. He had
O'Marion Hampton.
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 That's right.
Okay.
Which
So wow, we all three had draft. What about you, Trent? Who do you have them taking?
Kenneth Grant.
Okay, so
I think they're going to take Sanders if he's there, but I think it should be Kenneth Grant. If he's not there, it's Kenneth Grant.
So you and I are on the same page as defensive linemen. I think if Nolan's there, they're taking him.
Because then, according
Harmon
to
or
Vaughn,
Grant. I have those three as the guys who take one of those three.
this is the most anticlimactic thing of all time. We know they're taking.
How does Tennessee take 15 minutes to make this pick, by the way?
I think the NFL makes them take it because it was
pageantry.
the same thing last year. We knew who the first pick was going to be, and we had to wait the whole.
You
The NFL
guys
tells
see-
them to milk it.
How shocked
wait.
are we going to be if this is a trade?
There's no way they trade. Well,
I got my damn TV
I-
muted, so I have no idea what's going on here.
I'd be shocked if they traded, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
I couldn't put the captions on.
I got a lot of Maylocks, buddy. If they draft Shador Sanders, I don't know. It's not going to be Maylocks. It's going to be hard liquor.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
funny. I was gonna. He was getting at the door there, but I was gonna say for the Steelers, I really think this whole idea of if we get Shador, does that mean we are almost have to hire Dion a couple of years from now?
Nah, I don't think that's.
I think Vaughn had a good point. That's a selling point to me at this point.
I don't know. Dion's a showman to me. He's not a real football coach. He's a. I don't know.
Well,
It's that whole.
I can feel the argument coming between you and Bob with this.
No, I'm not going to argue over Deion Sanders
I
being
can-
a coach because that's never going to happen. That's
I
never
can
going to
feel
happen.
it. Go ahead, Bob. How do you feel about if that happens?
Dion, the thing I love about Dion as a coach is he's a CEO. He doesn't interfere.
That's true. I'll agree with you there.
I think Dion is the perfect head coach because he knows what he knows and he knows what he doesn't know. And I
Right.
don't think he would feel like at the
Officially.
NFL level, like he's got to interfere with his offensive and defensive.
We have the
My-
trade. Browns and Jaguars have made the trade.
Wow.
Shit.
Yep.
Dang, we should have kept Joe on for another 5 minutes.
Wow.
Browns
That's why
are
my
trading-
mouth dropped. I was trying not to interrupt you guys, but I was like,
Browns are trading number 2 overall and a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick to the Jaguars. Jaguars are trading 5th overall, a 2nd round pick this year, and a 4th. So they got
Jeez.
the 1st, 2nd, and 4th from the Jaguars this year.
Yeah.
and a
And the
2026 first round pick.
Wow, now you got to look at that and say that's a
Are any of you
fucking
guys
haul,
watching
dude.
ESPN?
Huh?
Are any
I'm
of
not
you
even watching. I'm on
ESPN?
Twitter. I'm on Twitter.
I'm on NFL.
Trent,
or-
you're ahead. It seems like. What are you watching?
I just got an update from Adam Schefter. I had to do Adam Schefter's updates on my phone,
Yeah, I got.
and
that's what I got on
the
ESPN.
update came through like right when they started going.
Wow, that's a good haul for the Browns. I'm
That's
starting
a
to wonder
massive
about
haul.
Yeah.
1st, 2nd, and 4th this year, and that 1st round next year.
God.
That's not bad.
That's a
That's
ton of
not
capital.
bad.
Wait. And who do we think the Jacks are taking again?
They're going to take
Travis
Travis
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so the first pick is in on the draft bash. You got Cam Ward, no quarterback, lower. Then I'll be publishing on social media the leaderboard and all that.
You
Good stuff.
chasing flies on
I am. There's
you're
a
right.
moth. It's driving me up the wall.
I thought you were having a seizure or something. You're right, bro.
That's I hate to say it. That's a pretty good fucking trade for the Browns.
That's a good haul.
I mean, you're losing out on a great player, but if you're
So-
rebuilding a team,
Here's my next question now. So the Browns are going to be loaded. They're going to have what, 2, 3 second round picks
yes.
now?
Yeah.
33 and 36. I'm willing to bet if it's not Shador at 5, I'm willing to bet that it's Jalen Milroe at 33. Unless
Would you, if you're
All right.
Pittsburgh, trade out of the first round and take 2 of their second round picks for
Yes.
them to come up
Yeah.
and get Shador?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
if they were
Yes.
dumb enough to
Oh
offer
my
it, yeah.
God.
And they want Shador apparently. Well, unless they decide, like they do that double trade down, like we were talking about earlier, or take them at 5.
If you get 33 and 36,
Yeah. Dude,
I'm trading
Done.
that.
Done.
Pounce.
Done.
Yeah, that's,
Wow. Fireworks already.
Schefter kept saying this was coming. I don't know if you guys watched any of the pregame stuff with him or pre-show
Yeah.
stuff with him.
Yeah.
He said tonight's going to be like explosive. He said it's going to be fireworks the whole way through.
They got
what if
about
they
5
don't
minutes left.
take Hunter? What if they
Carter?
go? Yeah,
Could.
Yeah,
Or,
that-
yeah.
Good.
Carter and Trayvon Walker. That
Yeah.
would be pretty imposing.
I agree. That would be pretty imposing.
I just don't think you can pass up on Travis Hunter, man.
Yeah. It's a tough.
Well,
it's a tough.
Yeah. Wait, is he? They thinking him for wide receiver or him for defensive back? Which is it?
It depends on the team, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
I think it's
nobody
most
is gonna-
likely.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
nobody's
Bob.
going to play him as a starting wide receiver. I mean, he'll be a gadget wide receiver.
Okay. So it's DB. Okay. All right.
That depends.
I bet you.
Yeah.
And if you're making this kind of trade, would you think he's playing 40% on offense though, and 100% on defense?
I think
know.
I think the Jags will, and Cohen is a creative coach. I think the Jags will use him as like, hey, I've got Brian Thomas who's going to handle. I mean, that's the clear number one. And
Right.
then
Yeah.
you bring Hunter in to kind of mix things up occasionally.
There it is. 2nd, 4th, 6th.
God damn.
Browns get the 5th, the 2nd, the 4th, and the 1st round pick for 2026.
Whatever
Yeah.
the Jags are doing, they're doing it fast because the fucking pick's in.
The pick's in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro,
According to NFL Network, I don't know who it is, but the pick is in.
it has to be for Travis Hunter. You don't
I-
know all this.
I think that's the only way you're doing that trade. I mean, that was a massive haul
I mean,
to
That's
move
a
up 3
lot to
spots.
give up,
but
man.
all this for a corner?
Corner / wide receiver.
What if
I mean,
what if they see him as the next Jalen Ramsey though?
What
Yeah.
if the Browns take Genty?
I was gonna say that something here doesn't seem right to me for it to be a defensive back. I don't recall. That's kind of crazy to me.
Well, Hunter's not just a defensive
Okay,
back.
now the
know,
Browns.
I know.
You
but
think about it. The
meanwhile-
Browns have 2
I don't know.
possible
man.
early
That's-
first-round picks next year. They're going to wait and take a quarterback next year, right? They'd be stupid not to now.
Who, the Jaguars?
No, the Browns.
Oh yeah. You got to do it next year. They got the fucking first round pick. They got 2 first round picks now next
2
year.
first-rounders.
Jesus.
Yeah, you just start loading up on position players in this draft and take your quarterback next year. This might not be good for us. I don't know.
No, there he is, Travis Hunter. They're showing him sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think it's boy. If it was Abdul Carter, what if it's offensive line?
No, there's nobody good enough. There's nobody good enough. Not
You
to
wouldn't
give up all
think
that.
you would have had to trade up to get an offensive line.
Guys, I don't think it's Travis Hunter. They didn't show him on the phone with anybody or anything.
He might know already.
He's just chilling in the green room.
Oh, as soon as that trade went through, say he probably got a phone call.
Yeah. Well, maybe even before.
Yeah.
I had this weird feeling like there's something else going on here. I don't know. I mean, Travis Hunter. I don't know. Like to do all this for that.
He's good, man.
Yeah, but man, that good.
You almost got to think they're playing him both ways, like more than just people think. Like, I mean, to make this kind of a haul, you're thinking you're getting a 2-way starter, not just. I don't know, man. Bob might be right, but I kind of feel like if you're making that kind of a trade, you're trading for a 2-way starter on both sides of the ball.
I would think this is way.
That's a lot.
They gave up a lot. Like,
I don't know. I like the deal for the Browns. I really do.
I do too.
That's a lot to get, man.
Could you imagine if they took Shador Sanders?
Who, the Jags?
But not with Trevor Lawrence.
And then what would they trade him?
Well, you don't. You
Then I'm
wouldn't be able
Pittsburgh
to-
making a phone call asking if they want 21.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like
You got it. Well, you would have had to trade him before the pick was in.
You would
You
think.
can't-
I just some reason it just doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. That is so much to give up.
Unless they really, I mean, look, when the Jags made the playoffs before Trevor Lawrence, it would have had a lot to do with Jalen Ramsey. So having a shutdown corner and having a defense, and then you get an offensive-minded coach. You know, I honestly, if they'd stuck at 5, I thought I meant to ask Joe this. I thought they were a player for Tyler Warren.
Hey, they're letting other people announce the picks.
It's not Goodell?
He handed it
wow.
over to this other guy. I got the thing muted, so I
Hey,
have no
you're
idea.
right. I see what you're talking about. There's a guy standing next to Goodell.
Eric Armstead.
I think it's a Make-A-Wish kid.
Eric Armstead is the Make-A-Wish kid?
Well, he's a Jaguars.
We're off the rails already. I love it. Here we go. They haven't announced the pick yet for the Jags. What's going on here? What's taking so long?
Yeah, it's on here.
Maybe
Goodell's
not.
making a
Maybe
speech.
somebody's. I don't know. I wish I had the.
Is
The,
ESPN going
the
back?
Athletics already reported who it is.
Tell us, Trent.
It's Travis
What do they
Hunter.
Travis Hunter?
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't see it on Twitter.
Travis
that's where
Hunter?
that's where I found it. It was on the Athletic.
We probably shouldn't put that out there before people's TVs. And
Yeah, you can.
Though.
If they don't want to, don't.
If it's on
don't
social
listen.
media, I think
Yeah.
we're okay.
I didn't say it at first, but since you guys asked,
What's
Yeah, we can
you
break them
you
early.
said the Athletics. What is that?
The
Athletic,
it's
the site.
online thing.
The social media. Okay,
yeah,
Damn, they're ahead. They're really ahead. Holy shit.
Oh, when it gets to the middle of the first round, they'll be way behind the broadcast compared to the online.
I'm surprised they were that aggressive.
Yeah, dude.
But I will say
Wow.
this guy, this coach, has been saying they're going to be aggressive. The GM was, we're going to be aggressive. We're not going to be just sit back and be the same old Jaguar. So
That's
you know,
good. I mean, for
it
them,
might go bust, but
can't say they didn't try.
They're swinging, that's for sure.
McShay was saying there's a lot of division in the Giants front office over a quarterback. Like they're like really fighting. I think Dayball wants Dart, and is it the owner or somebody wants Sanders? So they're like, this could go off the rails for the Giants too.
yeah, that's. I think the smart play is to take Abdul Carter, but you know, you got.
He's the next best player on the board.
I
We'll
hope
see. I don't
maybe
know,
they
man.
should announce they traded for Justin Fields and he's the starter just to say fuck you to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, for that.
I mean, Russ is.
Jordan Schultz just reported trades are just starting. ...
Oh boy.
You know, it really is the kind of draft where this could happen because there's no consensus. I mean, we don't know what people think at this point. I mean, we think we know.
Yeah.
I think I was listening today, and they said that the best draft expert, I think it's a guy named Chris Campbell, last year, only got 40% of the draft right. I think this is a harder draft to predict.
Oh, it's much harder.
There's like a lot of. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Trent.
I was just gonna say there's like a lot of really, really good players in this draft, but there's not like the franchise changing elite guys in this class. There's like maybe four,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Genty would be the fourth guy, and then after that, it's just like maybe some all pros in there, maybe some Pro Bowl caliber guys, but no one is like, you know, I have to go get this guy. So like teams are going to be trading all over the place because it's going to be like, I need this guy who fits my system.
Yep. I forgot to bring this up at the Open. Does George Pickens get moved tonight? Been a lot of rumors about that too.
I don't think
You don't think
so.
so?
I don't think so. Unless it's, I mean, especially now with this Cleveland thing. I mean, is somebody desperate enough? Look, he's by far the best wide receiver available tonight. Nobody in the draft is as good as George Pickens. So then it becomes a question of, is anybody going to give something up? Because, I mean, I think I'm on record, and I don't know if you guys agree. If you are not getting a second or a first,
Yeah.
there is no point because we're going to get a third if he walks.
Well, the only thing is you avoid 6 months of misery with him without a contract driving everybody crazy. That's the caveat and all that. But he just goes off the rails because he's pissed off. He doesn't have a contract and makes everybody fucking crazy. That's when you say, okay, give me a third, get him the fuck out of here. He's driving us nuts, you know? And then his trade value goes down because, you know, people know you have to trade him. So,
But at that point, you really don't care because, hey, fine, we ain't going to fucking trade you. We're getting a third round pick.
yeah, it sounds good in theory, Bob, but he can make them miserable.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Throw the whole
remember when
season off the rails, you know?
I said that 2 months ago and people were ready to revolt because I said, hey, you got DK. George Pickens is redundant. You guys were like, the time to do it was then. I mean, at this point, unless you're going to get something like the Browns got, and then this whole thing, by the way, if people have been talking about it, this Dobbs thing, trading for Dobbs, however the hell you say his name.
From Green Bay?
You're getting the attitude problem in Green Bay if we made that trade. Why would you trade for the attitude problem?
Giants take Abdul Carter, it looks like.
All right.
They didn't go off the rails. That's according to Josina Anderson, so let's put that in pencil for now.
Oh.
But it looks like they took Abdul Carter. That's a good safe pick. He's a great player. I know they have edge rushers already, but that's
but a guy like that is, it's NFL Network is making it official.
Was there any chance you guys think Pickens gets another contract?
It's risky with him.
If he balls out, if he really does behave and does the T. Higgins good citizenship, why wouldn't you franchise tag him?
Yeah.
I'm not just
again,
talking about a franchise tag. I mean, like an all-out extension.
If they think there's any way to save him, to straighten him out a little bit, then I would definitely do it. There's no denying the talent.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I misread his whole situation. I said after the season, the things that I heard people saying from coming out of the locker room, that the team was like done with him then. I thought he was going to be traded long before we're sitting here at the draft, but he's still here. So they've obviously got plans for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, John's poking.
If Khan gets 50% in draft hits instead of Colbert's 20s, John, you're halfway to getting banned from this thing. Keep it up. Patriots are on the board now, and I have a lot of Patriot fans out here. This is the worst case scenario. They wanted somebody to do something dumb, so Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter fell to them. So that makes me a little happy.
Did they go Genty?
I talked about that with them, and they were like, "No, we're taking Will Campbell." They all want Will Campbell.
I mean, I guess if you want to pick a guard 4th overall, then sure. I think he's going to be a really good guard, but if you're getting him to be your tackle, I think you're making a mistake.
Do they shock people and take Membu instead?
I think Membu probably has the better upside. I mean, honestly, Simmons from Ohio State, if he's healthy, is the best tackle, but I don't see how you could pick him here.
No, you can't take him out.
Why is DMC3 not wearing a hat like the rest of you?
Who?
Because DMC3 just got done wearing one in the 3 hours of the blazing sun. I'm good.
He's got to let that bald head cool off.
Yeah, I'm it's hot today, man. I'm on that baseball field. Ugh.
Yeah, that's what my wife was saying the other day when it was the 3 of us doing the draft. She's like, "Are all 3 of you bald?" And I was like, "No, Dave's got hair." She's like, "How does she know? He always wears the hat."
I don't have hair. I'm bald too, but I appreciate her support.
Our Sniper's got a really good point here, and we're hoping for a huge run on edge. Yeah, I agree, because then you get some interesting options.
Shower Curtain wants us to trade Pickens to the Pats. No, I don't want to see that. No.
Hey, if we could get the Pats' 2nd round pick.
Yeah, with that coach and that quarterback, Pickens will go off, and we will regret every last day from this point forward.
If he walks, I am 1,000,000% guarantee we're going.
Yeah, but for me in particular, I'm here in New England. I got to put up with this. You traded Pickens, forget it. Yep. I don't even want any part of that.
They beat us enough without him, let alone get them.
Oh, I see Relic has thrown something inflammatory in here. Trade TJ,
Well, if you're looking at it, his perspective to get him a Super Bowl, he's got a better shot somewhere else than he does here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Man, but if you were really serious about trading him, because I don't think he has a no trade clause, right?
Not that I know of.
I don't think he does. I don't know.
What if the Bears or somebody who's not great jumps up and says, "We'll give you a haul for him. We'll give you 10 and 39."
Give me something next year. If we're going to do this crazy shit, might as well load up for a quarterback next year.
The 10th and 39th overall this year? That's pretty stout.
Nah,
you're never going to get the return for TJ Watt.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no player in this draft that's good enough to replace TJ Watt.
No.
There's no player in next year's draft either.
Quarterback.
That's why I'm saying I wouldn't trade him.
Yeah.
You do it on the hope of a quarterback because you can have we're living it. You can have the TJ Watt all day long. You're not going to win a Super Bowl if you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, unfortunately. I vacillate on this. I mean, he's 31. If we're going to have to pay him $40 million, I don't know that I love that idea. Real question is, what do they do about Cam?
Cam Hayward?
Yeah.
What about him?
Because at 36, I mean, if you do go get a young defensive lineman,
He's
are you going to
retire.
play
That
Cam?
guy's going to retire a Steeler.
Yeah.
100%.
Well,
I mean, you stuck with him this long.
What I mean is, do you have to cut his snaps back for his own good?
Oh,
Somebody have to go to
probably.
him and say,
maybe. Yeah.
because last year, part of the fact that he was all pro is that they played him all the fucking time. You never saw him come off
He's a
the
freak.
field and rest.
He's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
He really is.
It would just depend, really.
If he's playing the way that he played last year, I don't see a need to cut his reps. I mean, as long as he's putting up production, he was still playing at a really high level. I mean, Calais Campbell's still going and getting 1-year contracts at did he just turn 40 at 41? Like what?
I think he's 41.
That's incredible too, man.
He's damn near on a walker right now, still freaking pulling like $8 million a year.
Right. Yeah, it's credible.
That position at that age, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, like usually the only place you're going to see that happen is quarterback. I don't recall really ever seeing that. Maybe you guys have got somebody from way back in the day, but a D lineman at 40 plus playing still.
Pats took Will Campbell. It's in.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, it makes sense. So
yeah,
now the Browns are on the clock. What do we do?
Player wise, it's going to form. I mean, the Jags threw the wrinkle in there, but it's going to form.
Yeah.
What do the Browns do? That's the $1 million
Almost as old
question.
as Chuck.
Fuck, who do you think they take the Browns in?
I wonder
Did
if
they take Shador again?
I wonder if Warren Sharp was right and they're gonna try to trade back again.
I wouldn't be. They keep saying it's multiple trades in the first round. Maybe the Browns leaked something and they're gonna keep
The Browns are just covering the spread by themselves. We're just gonna take all the trades.
Hey, let's for shower curtain here. Name me one problem Steelers wide receiver that amounted to shit once we got rid of them. Mike Wallace was pretty good when he left, but I would challenge you to name me the one Steelers receiver who did anything when he left beyond Emmanuel Sanders and Mike Wallace. Maybe it's not because we identify them, get the best out of them, and move on. Maybe it's because we're just not that good at picking them, and we're living off of a reputation that we don't deserve.
I did a whole show about that.
About wide receivers not being as good.
About the myth that we're this great evaluating wide receiver kind of team. I went through a whole list of guys dating back to 2014.
No shit.
And it was hard. It was hard to make the argument that we're actually like this elite wide receiver drafting team.
Well, they had that great haul with AB and they had the money crew there with Wallace. And they kind of got the reputation off that.
Sanders, yeah, that was.
And then they got whatchamacallit that won them a Super Bowl MVP there.
Santonio Holmes.
Yeah. So they were on a roll for a little while there.
Our man Vaughn always coming through with a good name, Plaxico. After he got out of jail, he had a nice career.
They did have a good run. It was earlier than people say. It was
Martavis,
right around that.
Martavis Bryant. We got a lot of reputational stuff going on because Juju looked so good early on. Chase Claypool had a great rookie season, but like if you go through careers of these guys, like
it's rookie season and then shit just went down fucking hill, like really downhill. Martavis is a what might have been.
You guys know he broke my heart. That guy, I love that guy.
He just
as much
couldn't stop smoking weed.
I mean, and sadly, if he comes along 5 years later, there's no problem because they stopped testing for it.
Yeah.
Is mentioning Van Jefferson. That being said, I mean, I agree with Trent. I mean, we have had some really good wide receivers, but for the most part, you look back, it's a lot more misses than hits, especially over the last 15 years.
Well, we all thought Claypool was going to be fantastic. That rookie season, he was unbelievable, and then he just fell off the.
Didn't he have like 12 touchdowns or something?
Yeah, it was nuts. Then he just fell off the.
Then
as much as we all love AB, look,
I don't know what you're going to say here, but be careful about it. AB was phenomenal.
No, I'm not saying. No. I promise. I'm not saying anything bad about the play. That's what I said. As much as we all love AB, did it hurt us that around the league the reputation is if Mike Tomlin couldn't handle AB anymore, is he living off that I handled AB, so I'm really good at handling players? And is that an undeserved rep? Did AB work so hard that it didn't matter if he was an asshole off the field? That because you knew on Sunday he was going to show up and play his ass off?
I think pretty much. I think he was given a loose leash because they knew he was not only was he the best player on the field, but he was one of the hottest practices during the week too. Everyone raved about how hard he worked on his routes and catching the ball and everything else. It's just in between there, he was a lunatic, and it just got progressively worse.
There's no, I don't know what you guys feel about it, but I mean, nobody worked as hard. He played as hard. I mean, the problems were all off the field, kind of just. I mean, he was a jerk. He was a jerk. There's no other way to say it. He was a jerk, but that didn't mean he wasn't a good player. I'll take a team full of jerks if they play like AB.
What do you got, Trent? You got to make it a face. Did I miss something?
Mason Graham to the Browns.
You traded back off of the play to take Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's good. He's good, but man.
But, really?
Well, you know what?
I mean, you still got a
though,
ton of picks, but
it is a solid pick. I understand, but if you didn't love Hunter and you wanted to pick up picks, now if they turn those two early second rounders into Milroe and let's say Travion Henderson, all of a sudden this is a really good draft for them.
Oh, you think so? Like
Henderson,
is that something?
Yeah, Milroe, no.
Milroe and yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, think about it. Milroe can sit for 3 years behind Kenny Pickett.
Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett.
There you go.
Super
There you
Bowl
go.
champion Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen. Another thing, going back to Bob's point about Tomlin, like Ben was notorious for not showing up to meetings and like being late and things like that too. He got a ton of like everybody talked about Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown being like the big issues, but like Ben was kind of just as bad. It just kind of flew under the radar because he's the quarterback.
Yep. That whole Killer Bees team was just. There's going to be a book or a special on that because there was some personalities on that team.
Yeah, it's a 30 for 30 episode.
Absolutely.
I don't like to make this comparison too often because I very much don't feel like Tomlin I don't feel like he won with Cowher's players, and people always go to that when I say something like this. But I think if Cowher had been the Killer Bees coach, they would have won at least one. I don't think so. He would have had the discipline, and I think Tomlin didn't have the discipline. I think the 2008 Steelers actually needed a looser rein with Tomlin than they would have had under Cowher to win. But I do think it kind of hurt them. I think it's hurt them in some 2013 on.
I think a few of those guys get traded before then, because Cowher couldn't take it. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I think a few of those guys get traded earlier because Cowher just couldn't put up with it. I don't think he could have dealt with a team like that. I
almost wonder if they would have taken any of them, to be honest with you. They probably still get AB. Obviously, they had Ben. I wonder if he would have took Bell.
Bell was just a second round pick that they,
he was
kind of took a flyer on.
Was there any bad things about him? Was there already out there? Was there already
No, not when he was drafted. He was a little overweight. I think his weight was kind of a thing.
It was like 240 pounds.
Yeah, I do remember that.
He was a big boy.
Yeah.
And look, Bell wanted to get his money, and I know. I mean, looking back, I never really harbored anything against Bell for holding out for his money. I thought he was dumb because he was holding out for running back money, and then he crashed the running back market. I would make that argument that the running backs don't get so devalued if he doesn't say fuck you to Pittsburgh and sit out for a year.
Genty to the Raiders. We're rolling now.
Yeah,
you guys are so far ahead of me. Like,
yeah, the TV broadcast go. You got to flip through Twitter because you're never going to keep up.
Like, this is legit. I mean, fuck.
Well, how many drinks in are you?
I'm pacing myself. I'm still my first one.
Bleacher Report is reporting that Travis Hunter is expected to play offense and defense in Jacksonville. So it sounds like they are drafting him to be a starter on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Trent, you called it.
Great.
Yeah,
His career will be over in 3 years because they won him out to a nub. But
How do you feel about that? He's 188 pounds. He's
I
pretty
don't think he can do
slender.
it. I don't think he can do it. I really don't. He'd be
think
the
he's
first
at
ever.
best
And at
as
that, like you
not.
said, at that weight, I mean, this ain't the Big 12 anymore, buddy. You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out fast.
Dion did that. I know, not
every
to
down.
the extent like that, like he did.
Not like
Yeah.
that. He was a gadget player on offense.
Yeah.
Basically.
Although looking back, you almost wonder. He had great hands. I almost wonder if he could have been a little more than a gadget player. But
I mean, if he set his mind to be wide receiver, he could have done anything he wanted.
Yeah.
Dion
Oh,
was
yeah.
that good. Dion was that good.
yeah, unfortunately his son didn't, inherit the talent. So I got one. I got
Here
one
we
for
go.
you. We all focus on Shador. Does Shiloh get drafted?
He's a 7th round pick.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what I think.
7th
Yeah.
round pick. Because of the Sanders name, he'll get picked.
He could. Yeah. Like 7 rounds.
He's a pretty good tackler too. Like I think he's going to be seen as a special teams value type guy. Like I think he gets drafted.
Yeah, Chad, sound off. Say it. Tell us what you guys think. Does Shiloh get drafted? And if he doesn't get drafted, would you be okay with the Steelers bringing him in as a UDFA?
Sure, why not? At that point.
Play safety where we needed another person in that room. If you don't draft one,
Yeah.
Looks like
Fine.
Carolina
As
could be making a
UDFA, I don't
trade.
mind at all. That's fine as UDFA.
Looks like Carolina's talking trade, according to Schefter.
I just switched my TV to NFL Network to see if it's like even a little bit ahead. You already said they took Ashton Genty?
The Raiders. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, that was reported.
That's a good pick for them. All of a sudden,
We talked about that for a while. But
you
they
get Gino, you've got
It just makes sense.
Genty, you got a good tight end. All of a sudden, it's not a bad football team.
They desperately need help at wide receiver.
Oh yeah,
They do. They do.
But the running back, the running backs, I don't think the Raiders running backs last year were just about as bad as you can think.
Yeah.
Madison was terrible. He was supposed to be the starter. He was terrible. Basically got hurt and then more or less became irrelevant. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mason Graham, you poor bastard.
Do you like the pick though? Take the trades and everything out of it. Do you like the pick Mason Graham right there at 5?
He is the best defensive tackle on the board, supposedly.
He is.
You pair him with Myles Garrett, and
I always had him behind Nolan.
I just expected something more dramatic after they made that big trade. Like I thought they would maybe trade again, or take Shador, or do something crazy. It's a safe pick.
Maybe they're
guess.
they're learning because it's arguably a smart pick.
I just wonder with the way he weighed in at the combine, like is he big
risky.
enough to be
He's
playing the interior in Cleveland? I don't know.
You listen to some of these draft experts, like I listened to McShay or some of the other guys, and they try to explain away. Well, he's not that big. He's got shorter arms, but he's good. He's got a good motor. And I'm like, well, that's not a top 5 pick then. You just can't rely on motor to be a top 5 pick, but apparently we're going to find out.
They are apparently.
Relic's depressed we couldn't get Genty. Look, we got short, fat guys. They're here on this podcast.
Jesus Christ.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm 6'2". I'm not short. Okay.
You kill that kid. I don't know why.
I'm going to make a poster of him with a shirt off. I'm going to make you put it on your wall at home and look at it every day.
They're
The guy's
showing
ripped
right
like there's
now.
no tomorrow.
They're showing right now. There's no. He ain't fat at all.
If he's fat, I'm freaking.
Well, he's not fat at present, but I could see him, evolving.
Look, if he's fat, I need to go to the hospital.
What do the Jets do here?
That's
Tyler Warren?
This is a sneaky spot
Ooh.
for Shador. But yes, they should go Tyler Warren.
Because they've had Conklin is their tight end for a while now, and he ain't shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that would make sense.
I wouldn't count out one of the tackles here either.
Tackles?
Count out who?
Well, like Banks or one of them.
That's kind of what I was wondering if Membu goes here.
Membu
has been linked to them too. That's a good point. Yep.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Hashtag Davis Terminator.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I hope for Justin Fields' sake they don't go quarterback, because I do think he's with a group that likes him and wants him to be their quarterback. So, I mean, I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I think he got a raw deal in Pittsburgh. I said it way back when in the season when they benched him. It was a dumb
Jets
move.
took Membu.
Yeah, it's a solid move for them.
They got a nice solid offensive line now.
It is.
Yeah. Potential over performance. Banks is probably the more established guy, but yeah.
We could see another trade here. Carolina seems to be shopping. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, there were some rumors they were trying to get back to 14.
Do the Giants jump up here and get Shador now?
I was about to say this is
That's a
pushing
big
Shador
jump.
I don't
Try to
think
get ahead of New Orleans, because
I
New
don't
Orleans is
think
next.
I don't think anybody starts maneuvering for Shador or any quarterback until 9.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I was thinking.
Well, 9's next. You got to get ahead of it. Well, I don't think the Saints are going to take him from everything I've read. They're more on Dart than they are Sanders, so you might not have to worry about it.
I don't think they take a quarterback. I think they ride with Spencer Rattler.
Relic's putting the Jets in the Super Bowl already. The easy killer. Easy. Easy.
I was going to say.
No, I heard some crazy talk today. Somebody was saying that Genti should go to the Jets, and I was like, "Is Brees Hall dead?" What?
Well, they're saying they're shopping him. Have you heard that stuff?
Yeah, I've heard
the coach
that.
is saying
Yeah,
they're shopping
I've heard
him.
that. Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, that's a call we should make. If you want to give up Brees Hall, I love that kid's game. I think he.
Yeah,
Something's wrong though. I don't know why they're so off on him all of a sudden.
I know.
They didn't use him. Well, they do have. What's the other kid's name? They ended up tandeming this year with. Looks like he's a pretty good running back. I don't think he's as good as Hall, but it looks like he could be a guy.
And he came out of nowhere. I know you're talking about. I forget his name, but yeah, he ended up being a decent grab by them.
Hey, if anybody in the chat knows the Jets' other running back.
Yeah, I can look it up quick. Who do the Carolina Panthers take? I heard Edge, like Mike Hill.
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the kid from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a nice player. I mean, I could see, I still wouldn't. I wouldn't get rid of Hall if I was the Jets, but it is the Jets, and the
well, I mean,
19-year-old.
What if they just want to go all in with Allen and get some picks to go after some other players? It could make sense. I could see it.
I just saw somebody on Twitter say, Brian, the Jaguars have a nice 1-2 punch at wide receiver, Thomas and Hunter. If they decide to go that way, that would be kind of super interesting.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Somber, Greg. Yeah, he's a little injury prone, but I mean the talent's undeniable. I mean, it's he's when he plays, he's a top 5-ish back.
So Adam Schefter's saying that the Giants are picking up Kayvon Thibodeau's 5th-year contract option.
Okay.
Right after they drafted Carter.
That makes sense.
Keep him from complaining right off the bat. So they're under contract.
Well, pair 2 good edge rushers together for at least another season and see if you work out a contract extension.
Yeah.
And just going back to Brees Hall for a minute. Okay, so yes, he missed most of his rookie year. Got it. But he played 17 games in 23 and 16 games in 24. So, but I know they split and they really managed his carries. I mean, he hasn't carried the ball more than 223 times is his max. So, which means you could probably get him cheap. I mean, You tell me right now, we throw out a 5th rounder and get Brees Hall. Yeah, I'm down.
I mean,
I'm
you
game.
almost have to at that point. If it's just a 5th, then you'd have to seriously think about it.
Yeah, and he's not. He's young. He's only 23.
I was gonna say he was young when he came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking him over Trevion Henderson or O'Marion Hampton or guys like that. But if we start to get into that next tier of running backs, it could do worse.
Better than Caleb Johnson. He's projected to be a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah.
Much better than Caleb Johnson, in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%. Would you rather have him or Trevion Henderson? Well, you're talking about a 1st or 2nd-round pick compared to a 5th too. So it's kind of hard to comp them, but
I think. Say, wasn't he a 2nd-round pick? Yeah, Brees Hall was a 2nd-round pick. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. I personally, if we don't go, and I just get that feeling if Nolan's off the board, it's running back that Nick Farabaugh was right. But if not, I mean, if you told me, hey, 3rd, 4th round, you're getting Damian Martinez, I'd be more than okay with that.
like I said on our mock draft show, in the back of my mind, I think Tomlin's got a type that he wants, and it's not Trevion Henderson. It's Ollie Gordon. I'm telling you.
Fuck, dude.
They
you
have
really think
they have
that's-
Gainwell for 3rd down. They have Jalen Warren, who's that type of back. He doesn't have his Najee Harris, and he's going to want that. I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
Yeah.
But the Steelers have had a big back for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
They've always had a big back.
Trying to think back to the 80s, Abercrombie was kind of a big back. Worley was supposed to be a big back.
Just the Tomlin era. He's always had a big back.
Barry Foster was kind of small. But that's really going back. Yeah, that's really going back. Yeah, Bus, Baytron, or Najee Davenport.
I'm telling you.
I got something interesting here. Jason from Over the Cap says Genty's rookie salary will be 11th among all running backs. Has to be really good to justify that pick in that high of a position.
It's a good point. Draft him that high because running back salaries are generally low compared to the rest of the league. So yeah,
that's interesting.
And if you want a stock tip, buy Little Debbie.
Jesus Christ, Bob.
The hate. God, I hate that kid.
You have like a hate. Your hate for him like almost rivals my Jackson Dart hate.
I don't.
Mike Shedeur Sanders. We all have our guy, I guess.
I don't hate him. I just wish he would. I wish he would have shown more in the process. And I do not like running backs that fumble. I just don't. It's the only thing I'm scared about with Jalen Warren.
We talked about the last time. Did they make a pick?
Oh, Panthers are in.
Ted McMillan.
Did they really?
Yep.
Wow.
Trying to get some help for a young quarterback.
All right.
I guess you need a receiver that Bryce Young could see.
Do you know McShay had him 50th on his board? 50th overall, Ted McMillan.
McMillan?
Yeah.
It's so weird. He went.
Trent was
season
high.
ends,
Trent
this
was
is
high
by
on him.
I like him.
Yeah.
Season ends. He's the best wide receiver in the draft. By the time the process is over, he sucks.
Oh, I don't think. I don't think anybody thinks he sucks, but I get your point. He did drop a little bit in the process.
In the draft. Yeah, I mean, come on.
All right, New Orleans is on the clock.
Wow.
McShay, I forgot what he said. He said, I forgot what his explanation was. I've heard so many podcasts now, my brain's kind of jumbled, but.
Our sniper, we got to release Patterson.
I've been waiting for that damn news for like months now.
He's the big back that Mike Tomlin won't let go.
That dude has some serious dirt on Arthur Smith or something. I don't know what the hell, because there's no way
pictures
he
of Mike
should be
Tomlin.
here.
There's no doubt about it. He's got pictures of something.
My favorite thing is the guy complains on social media, like if he doesn't get to play enough. It's like What?
Yeah.
Like, what?
On the real 84.
Have you missed every film room meeting on every fucking Monday, dude? Like seriously. Like I think there's somewhere down the line, like Cordell Patterson has found some pictures of Arthur Smith at a fucking Diddy party or something. Like there's something in there.
There's something. It definitely is.
Diddy.
They signed that guy to be a kick returner. He can't even run 15 yards down the field without running out of breath. They missed that evaluation completely. I don't know who was responsible for that one, who the pro scout is, but they need to be fired.
That's Artie Smith's boy.
Yeah, true. It probably was Artie Smith. So New Orleans, here we go. What do? Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders.
I still think they're going Jackson Dart. I don't know. It'd be surprising.
I think so too.
I don't think they should, but they will.
Was it Pauline or Allen who said drafting Dart in the first round is a fireable offense?
I think that might have been Pauline. No, it wasn't. It was the other guy you said.
Yeah, it could have been every draft expert. I'm sorry.
Listen, in this draft, yeah, it probably honestly this early it probably is.
Yeah.
Unless, and I don't know, New Orleans does have an offensive-minded coach, so it's probably not the worst landing spot in the world for him. But yeah, I don't know.
His play style fits their offense. It's just way too high to draft him there. I still think I've been saying for a long time I thought he was a third-round quarterback.
See, I don't know why you guys don't see it. You see what you see in Dart, I see in Sanders. I just don't see. I don't want to get into a big debate about Sanders and Dart, but I don't see how he translates. I really don't.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think Sanders is a second-round pick. I don't think he's a first-round quarterback either. He doesn't have any elite arm talent at all. I mean, he's very accurate. Like that, his trait is his accuracy. But like, you can't go through Sanders' game and really pick apart like a lot of first-round graded stuff that he's capable of either. So he can win in the league, but he's not like he's not that special.
And then you throw in the fact that he holds the ball, and you know he's a risky guy to me.
He holds the ball compared to a lot of people in college, but you know there's that a lot of quarterback experts will tell you the same thing. The one thing you can't teach is accuracy.
That translates.
They said Josh Allen wasn't accurate, and
Josh Allen is the exception.
They taught him. He is the exception.
He's the exception. But you can't think of anybody else who got more accurate coming to the NFL besides Josh Allen.
The pick is in. Somber said, "Who's New Orleans taking?" Can we refresh my feed here? See if I can see anything. I do not.
Yeah, I still see the Ted McMillan news so far.
Yeah, I don't see anything right now.
And while we're waiting, since Dave was curious about the whole reason that we're down on him, this is my reason.
I saw you digging for something over there. I saw you digging on the computer. I knew you were up to no good.
Yeah, look, it's a trend is a trend is a trend. It's a thing. It's a thing. Just like, forever, Ohio State quarterbacks, CJ Stroud now is maybe the exception, but Ohio State quarterbacks sucked. USC quarterbacks for a long time.
Dino Sanders, baby.
Alabama hadn't put a really good quarterback in the league for a long time until, I don't count Hurts personally. So, I mean, and if you count Tua, then okay, I guess he.
You have to count both of them. I mean, they both played at Alabama.
Well, Hurts got drafted at Oklahoma. He got benched for Tua.
Yeah, but he played the majority of his career at Alabama. Then was it one season at Oklahoma?
No, I think it was two.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but then you got to go all the way back to like Ken Stabler.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think Lane Kiffin and Ryan Day have a lot in common as well. Like they are so just unbelievably good at scheming up the first guy open almost every single time that if as a quarterback, you don't have to learn to go through progressions. And I think that's why so many Ohio State guys have had issues because they never had to learn to read a defense or worry about anything other than Ryan Day tells you to throw the ball here. You throw the ball here and it's going to be, 15 yards or a touchdown, depending on who catches it. I mean, it's just, Lane Kiffin's offenses are very similar, and I think that's a lot of what Jackson Dart's tape shows. Is like he never had to go to the second read, but maybe 10% of the time. So it's hard to evaluate those guys. I think
it is tough to evaluate that. It is, but I don't think you should punish the kid either because his coach is really good. And if the first read's open, it's open. I mean, I don't see what else you can do. I base a lot of it on. He's got a little bit of athleticism. I can't even talk. And, he's a tough kid and all that stuff, played in the SEC, as opposed to, Sanders. I hate to keep harping on it, but that Big 12 schedule is ridiculous. It's so bad. And they didn't even play the top two teams in the conference. So they played the bottom of the barrel of the Big 12.
If you go back 25 years, you're going to have more quarterbacks who are good in the NFL than the Big 12 than the SEC. The SEC,
yeah, but again, Bob,
does not put good quarterbacks in the NFL
because the Big 12 doesn't play defense. That's they're infamous for that.
But they do in the NFL.
I have the pick. If you guys don't know,
let's go.
Let it rip.
Saints select Kelvin Banks.
Wow, they didn't take.
They did not go quarterback. Everything, that was out there. That they
you know what that means? Shador is in play.
I know the pick first. Ha, fuckers.
Shador is in play at 21, unless somebody trades up.
So is Jackson Dart. We'll see what the real stuff. I mean, they both came in for visits, and there's a lot of fans on both sides of this aisle. This is going to get real interesting.
Man.
This is officially getting interesting.
Steelers Twitter is about to be lit the fuck up right now.
Yeah, big time. If they're both on the board at 21, that's going to be a long ass 15 minutes while we wait for that decision.
Okay, but in all seriousness, let's say they both are on the board at 21 and
trade
Nolan
the fuck down.
But if Walter Nolan is there, do they take Walter Nolan and just say, okay, we're punting?
Yeah, like Trent said in the chat, I don't think the Steelers are interested in Walter Nolan. There's some red flags. I don't know if that's turned them off. It never has in the past, but it might be this time.
I would just take Walter Nolan, and then if a couple of those guys fall, then if they need to, then just trade up. If you really want him that bad.
I heard a lot of guys say Walter Nolan would be top 15 pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen now, but he's that talented.
Buffalo was rumored today about calling Pittsburgh to trade up also.
If Johnny
they're showing Shador.
Or maybe I would say they'd be interested in Matthew Golden as well.
Yeah.
Add to that wide receiver core.
They're showing Shador Sanders. He's dancing, drinking, having a good time here. Like he don't give a fuck that the Saints didn't take him.
That makes me nervous. That makes me even more nervous.
Extremely nervous. That's telling me my dude knows where he's going.
I might need to go for a walk after 21.
I would
I'll have to go for a little stroll.
Go switch coffee out for a drink, just drink, and
do we want to? Go ahead.
I was going to ask if what you guys thought about that Kelvin Banks pick at 9.
I like it.
I think it's a little early.
For Banks?
I think it's a little early.
I think so too.
Line class just isn't that good. So
their line was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with the Saints' offensive line to say, but it seems like a reach to me.
I thought it's a little early for him.
Again, a lot of people were saying leading up to this that Banks was going to go earlier than people thought.
Yeah, well, is Banks what? Membu? Who was the other top 4?
Campbell.
And 3 tackles in the top 10.
Yeah, that was kind of unexpected, right?
No, it was. No. On the thing I looked at, there are 4 tackles ranked in the top 19 projected to go.
Really? Who's the fourth guy?
It was Banks. I'd have to look.
Simmons, right?
Must be.
Simmons. I would have taken Simmons. I think ahead of Banks. I think he's a safer prospect, honestly.
I feel like Banks and Simmons, both to me, are kind of really solid guys. I think Membu is the upside guy. I think both of those guys are solid. If you got either one of those guys, I feel like, and I think Simmons is a little better. It's just the injuries that's hurting him. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't get injured, he's probably the first time.
It was Campbell, Membu, Banks literally ranked 9th overall on here.
Interesting.
And then it was Simmons.
Yeah. So that puts all those 3 teams in play: Browns, Saints, and Giants for a trade up. Because none of them took a quarterback, if they so choose.
Well,
Omar should be on the phone.
And let's face it, the Browns have the right capital to move up if they want
definitely
to.
do. They definitely
want
do.
to. I don't think they're going to move up for the Steelers.
But if they have, I keep going back to it. If they have 2 first-round picks next year, they're going to wait. They're going to wait.
Who, the
Who's
Steelers?
to say that Jacksonville pick isn't going to be top 15 again? The Jags can never get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Not to mention their own.
Kind of surprised at this point Jalen Walker is still on the board.
We haven't had an edge yet, have we?
I don't think so. No.
No.
No. So
I honestly, the way this is kind of playing out, I've seen stuff where Walter Nolan could be up higher than, a lot of people think. We haven't seen anybody but Mason Graham so far outside of, off that. I mean, we had one edge, obviously Carter went, but
I forgot about that. Carter, yeah.
But I don't know. This draft so far is actually kind of playing in our favor. If we're being honest.
It is.
The Bears are on the clock. I heard they really wanted Genty. They were trying to trade up. Trying hard to trade up to get the Genty.
It's okay. Take Hampton. Keep pushing more guys down towards what I want.
This is I think Tyler Warren goes here.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good for them.
Okay.
That would make the Bears
and I like Cole Kmet. I think he's a good tight end, but
Warren 12. Yeah,
Wait a
just go
second.
2 tight end.
Yeah, you think they'd go that route? I might be able to see if this pops up.
What do the Bears need? I don't even
12.
I know the pick.
Go ahead, tell us.
Colston Loveland.
Colston Loveland.
Wow.
Over Warren. Interesting.
I've been saying it. They're 1A, 1B. I mean,
he's a damn good player.
He is a good player. There's no doubt.
2
Bears are
years
pretty
ago,
loaded.
he was really good. He wasn't great last year, but
You nailed tight end. You nailed tight end, Bob.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey.
Just it's not the right one, but yeah, you nailed it. Whew, man, that is going to be man.
All right, so 49ers on the clock now. I haven't heard too much noise about the 49ers. I actually thought tackle.
This could be
Is this
Wilson Nolan.
Yes,
Could be.
that is the one. Yes, this is the team that I saw that was getting Nolan high.
Fuck, really?
I'd see
Damn.
Banks to them on a couple of mocks, but yeah, Nolan makes a lot of sense to them.
Could they be sneaky and go quarterback?
I was just gonna say, what if they go
Shador there?
Shador?
No wonder he's dancing and drinking. He's going, what, 12th? 11th. That would be something.
It would make Relic happy if we announced we just signed Aaron Rodgers. Brock Purdy is gone. We're drafting Shador.
This wouldn't make me happy if Shador went to San Francisco because they can make any quarterback look good and I'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
From Bob. So no Shador to the 49ers, please.
I already got the 49ers pick.
Go ahead, tell us. Let's go.
49ers select Mikael Williams.
Edge.
Oh, wow.
Edge.
Yeah.
Not the one I thought would go first from that defense.
No.
Yeah.
Why would they not take Jalen Walker?
That's interesting.
Cowboys are up.
I guess Walker is kind of looked at as more of like a linebacker now, off-ball linebacker. So I wonder if they didn't like him for their scheme, like as the 4-3.
Yep.
Or I guess they kind of
probably
sometimes, run that 4-2-5 or whatever. But I don't know.
It's a good point.
And we're agreed. Cowboys are definitely a no on Shador Sanders, right? With that contract that Dak's got, there's no fucking
The only
way.
thing that scares me is the Dion, Dallas connection.
Yeah. That's what's in the back of my head too. Like I'm
But
would they do it or not?
Honestly, I think we got to be rooting for Jahdae Barron to fall here because that's the guy I've heard all the Buffalo buzz on. that if Barron is a 21, Buffalo will potentially make a phone call.
Really?
I kind of agree with Trent too. They might want wide receiver
And the
if Golden
Steelers
is
should
there.
tell them, we'll give it to you for Josh Allen.
Straight up.
Or
That would be
would.
the reaction too.
You know what? We'll kick in a fourth.
pick 30 and 56.
Yeah.
Do we think Golden or Hampton? I don't think Dallas has taken a running back. They signed a couple, right?
I
I don't know if
I
it's
know
out
they
of play
wanted-
though.
I know Genty was on the wish list. I think it's Matthew Golden, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Marion Hampton.
Let me look at the Cowboys running backs real quick.
No, they need.
They have
they went back
Javonte
to-
Williams
they went
and
back
Miles
to-
Sanders. They
Oh, that's
signed
right.
both those
They-
guys.
The running back for them had a good season, but he was like out of nowhere, had 1,000 yards. He's a free agent. I don't think anybody signed him.
He went
Yeah, I
somewhere.
don't-
If we're gonna
He-
go off the wall,
I think I can't remember.
if we're gonna go off the wall. Tyler Booker.
Yeah, you think so?
It's possible, I guess.
It is the Cowboys. It would be a little too early, in my opinion, but he is the best guard.
I mean, yeah, he's a projected second round pick.
No.
No, he's first rounder.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
Oh yeah, if he didn't play guard, he'd probably be in the top 15.
Nothing yet.
Dallas is another wild card team. We don't know who the hell they're going to take.
Gary said they signed a couple of frequently injured or mediocre running backs. I thought Najee went to the Chargers.
Tony Pauline loves the Panthers pick up Ted McMillan. He's with you, Trent. He loves McMillan.
Makes sense for that. They didn't have anybody like that in that offense.
No,
They don't have any receivers, do they? They're kind of
they're still hanging on to the ancient wonder, Adam
Oh,
Thielen,
yeah.
right?
Adam
He's still
Thielen,
there,
right.
ain't he?
Yes.
Oh, and they who's the kid from
Xavier
South
Leggett.
Carolina they took last year too?
Yeah, Xavier Leggett's pretty good.
Yeah, Leggett.
Nice
Weren't they shopping him briefly, like in the summer? Didn't they shop him like
Did
real
they?
briefly?
I didn't know that. Huh?
I think there was like a handful of weeks span where they kind of like shopped him out there, and I thought there was a connection between them and Dallas, maybe that then kind of fizzled out.
So, question: Colston Love went off the board. Does that now push Warren down to 21?
Oh, I would love
Oh.
Warren.
Could
I'm running to the podium. Running to the podium.
No, they can't. They can't.
Yes,
do
they
the
can.
first on that.
Yes, they can.
I mean,
I mean, they could, but
unless it's something we haven't heard about
Absolutely.
Warren that's a medical thing or something, that he falls all the way to 21.
Look, I'm
'Cause
telling
that guy
you,
was a-
Bob. I watched this kid all fucking last
Yeah,
season.
he's good.
He is legit.
I guess Vaughn doesn't like that. He gives you the big old no.
He
I would
was
take him.
literally the Penn State offense in that last.
He even
game.
ran some wildcat quarterback, didn't he?
yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. He does it all. He's an
Can I-
incredible player.
Can I throw this out there for next year?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Drew Aller was only good because Tyler Warren was in the freaking offense.
Thank you.
It's possible.
agree.
I
totally
don't.
disagree.
I do not like
Look,
Drew Aller at all.
I was high on Drew Aller until this season. Like he got bailed out so bad by Warren and those running backs. Like
Yes.
dude, it was bad.
NFL schedule release May 14th. Schefter just reported that. So we'll find out the whens and wheres.
Man, Cowboys are taking forever.
Yeah, I've not seen anything on this one yet.
Yeah, me either.
could they be trading?
Could be. I mean,
Very
just
possible.
in strict value, draft
if-
value alone.
What if
Warren
it,
has to be, if he's at 21, he has to be the best value.
what if
would
it's
think.
Pickett? What if it's Pickens for the 12th? It
I
won't
like
be.
this draft.
No, why did I say about that?
I wouldn't.
If they did, listen, I don't. If they're giving me the 12th pick for George Pickens,
Oh, that's
I'm
different there.
fucking flying his ass down there myself if I'm Mark on. I'm
There you go.
first class ticket. Bye.
Who are we taking at 12 though? That's going to be better than George Pickens.
It's not so much better. It's
Don't matter.
And
Who's left? I mean, if it was
What do you
Warren,
mean? Who's left? Matthew Golden is on the board. O'Marion Hampton.
Yeah, I was gonna
on
say.
the board.
what?
but you could probably get Hampton at 21. Golden.
Well,
you could
I
make
mean, you
the
might be able to get Golden or Emeka Ibuka at 21 and take somebody else on the defensive side of the ball right now.
Or
Yeah,
do
you-
Warren,
yeah.
get
You
Warren
can
and
do it.
Golden. Imagine Warren.
Could
and
do
Golden.
that. Could do that too.
Now you're cooking. Now you're talking me into it.
I'm liking the way
Could take
you guys
shit.
follow.
Could
I really
could
am.
take Shador Sanders now and take your receiver later.
That would be
Yeah.
the scary thing is if they did do it, you'd almost.
I think it'd be a reach, but I mean they could do that.
Still no Dallas pick, huh? Nobody see anything
Yeah.
on Dallas?
No, I'm looking.
I know. I took O'Marion in our mock draft, but that was before I heard how much Denver loved him. I'm really worried we got to get in front of Denver to get Hampton.
Yeah, they're not going to trade up for Hampton. So
I mean,
They better not.
if you got to go like 20 to 19, maybe they did it with Broderick. They love Broderick.
yeah, they did do that for Broderick.
But the question, I mean, honestly, if they got the same grade on Trevion and O'Marion Hampton,
Yeah, just stick and pick.
yeah, stick and pick.
I don't know. I'm worried about Sanders now. I really am. We're only
Yeah,
what,
now you should be because it's. I think your only hope
only 9 picks
is
away.
what the Colts, maybe.
The only thing that's,
Maybe.
the only thing that stands.
Trade
I don't
up.
think it's the Colts. It's a trade up.
Colts,
Yeah, the only thing that
Seahawks.
stops us now
I'm
is a
sorry,
trade up.
I forgot about Seahawks. Colts, Seahawks.
I don't think the Seahawks are going to be in that market. They just paid Sam
would
Darnold,
think
but-
not because of that, but like you just don't know. I mean, well, Darnold, they signed him to what, 2-year deal?
3, I thought.
I think it was 3, but I thought it was structured like a 2-year deal.
Yeah, only 2 is guaranteed or something.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Yeah. So
So in theory, yeah, you'd think they wouldn't.
Yeah, you take Shador Sanders. You're really going to think he's going to sit
I'm
for
not
2
helping
years.
Dave here. I'm trying to find teams to give him hope, and it ain't happening.
Dion is going to get on the
man.
TV and start bitching if his son's not starting by week 6.
Dude,
oh yeah.
just said,
Bill
Guaranteed.
Coward
Oh,
just
that,
messaged
yeah.
me saying he can't believe they went for the Jags went for that trade.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that. As good of a player as they got, they gave up so much. So much.
dude,
Dallas has got to be working a
Cowboys-
trade, right?
Cowboys are taking forever. Holy shit.
Either that or somebody's trying to wake up Jerry Jones.
Or that. Hey, boss, can we make this move?
Juan wants to know if he's the only one sticking to the plan. Pick a defensive lineman. Hey, look, we could dream. We could dream. I think Starkey said it best this afternoon on his show. He's like, yeah, we should take DL, but it's boring. We don't want boring. We want exciting.
There you go.
So Mason Graham's the only defensive tackle taken so far. They're all. There's going to be a good one left at 21 now. It's just between Harmon, Nolan, and Grant. So it just depends what the Steelers really want.
It's getting crazy.
What
All
is
right,
Dallas doing?
I need my first old man break. I'm coming right back.
All right.
Okay. I like that.
I thought I was going to be the first one to use that.
I tell you what, I may have to switch from beer to coffee. I'm starting to feel tired too. That damn sun took it out of me today. As of today,
Damn it.
I've had more coffee and beer than I have water. It's probably not a good thing.
Water's for pussies. Come on.
There you go. And we're live.
What were you going to say, Trent?
Dan Orlovsky is advocating for the Dolphins to take Tyler Warren.
For the Dolphins.
Yeah, they need corner help. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I can think of a lot of other. I'd like
He's a
to.
free agent.
I would
Right,
say,
forgot.
did they bring back Johnny Smith?
Thank you.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to think of. Did it bring
That's what I thought. I thought he resigned.
Look, I don't. Bob will have to get the fuck over it. If Warren falls to 21, they better take fucking Tyler Warren, or I am going to be upset.
Who would you take over Tyler Warren? Would you take Kenneth Grant over him?
Oh,
You'd
I
have to
love
think about
Grant. I really like
You
Grant.
would have to think about it.
I like Grant, Nolan, Harmon. I like those guys. But Tyler Warren, I'm not trying to be overboard this. I feel like he would be like that guy that can help them take it to the next level. He would be hard as shit to cover when you got to worry about Pickens and DK Metcalf. And if you
And
want to go
Muth.
with Muth,
And Muth too, yeah.
right? Like that's how dynamic they would be in their 2 tight end,
D-
12 personnel they want to run or whatever. Like that would be exceptionally hard to stop.
Dave, you know I've been on Warren forever too.
I'm just saying, like, say for instance, you draft Warren, right? And then you go get one of these fast running backs in the, we'll say 3rd or 4th, 5th round, right? Dude, I'm telling you, that would be legit.
don't get your hopes up. It's going to be defensive tackle
Cowboys,
Ali
I have
Gordon.
Cowboys.
Go ahead, give it to us.
They select offensive lineman Tyler Booker.
Took that long
Oh.
to select Booker.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't
That's a
Bob say
reach.
that's who they're going to take? Did Bob call
He
that?
might have
That makes
mentioned
sense. Didn't Zach Martin just retire?
Yes, he did. Yes, he
So
did.
there's your replacement.
What has Vaughn got for us about Shedeur Sanders yet? Adam Schefter reports on the broadcast there's no assurances that the Steelers will go with Shedeur Sanders if he's available at 21. Still a plethora of DTs on the board.
Guys, I love the way this is falling. Bunch of O linemen. Dude, this just is pushing tons of options down the board.
So you got Hampton, Grant, and Warren. Who are you taking?
Say it again. Hampton, Warren, and who?
Grant.
How
Grant.
anemic was?
I'm sticking with Grant.
How anemic
Yeah.
was our offense?
It's been anemic for fucking 7 years now.
Correct. You add Warren with Muth, with DK Metcalf, with Pickens.
Then you go like Joshua Farmer in the 3rd or something like that. Get your DT
Yes.
there.
That's the thing. This draft is gonna. Don't get me wrong. I love
Alfred
Warren.
Collins,
I love
maybe?
these guys, but Warren, like, dude, if he's what I think he's gonna be,
The thing about Grant is he's got the potential to be really, really good. And that's what
Which
draws
one?
me to him.
which one?
Kenneth Grant.
No, don't get me wrong. I love Grant. I
He's a
love
good
Grant.
defensive tackle. He could become a really, really good defensive tackle.
I just Warren is.
I think Grant's an all-pro. That's my opinion. That's where I view him. I just Tyler
I
Warren could be too, though, as a tight end. To be fair,
As far as defensive lineman goes, I don't disagree with you. I don't. I just
Yeah.
know that on offense, we struggle to and Muth frustrates the shit out of me. Just to be honest with you guys, like Muth has been a very frustrating player for the Steelers, at least for me, at least. So to get a guy like Warren to plug in there with him, man.
All right, Dolphins are on the clock. I don't know who they're going to take. I haven't. Dolphins have been quiet through this process. You don't see a lot of players kind of stick to them.
I don't know who they'd want.
Aren't they trying to trade their corner so that they might need corner?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Vaughn, I think right now advocating to trade back. The way this is falling, I think you're getting to like where it's going to become pretty impossible to trade back.
Is
I
he-
tend to agree.
Too many guys are falling.
Oh, I thought Vaughn was
And a
trying
back.
to say we traded back or something.
No, I
Jim?
think he's advocating to trade back, but I think the way this is falling, this could be really, really hard to trade back. You're not going to get value. Too many guys are left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless somebody goes crazy for a quarterback. That's the only thing.
That's your kind of
You see what
But
Greg said about
then again,
Warren
you're
getting
trading out of the
NFL?
first round, right? I mean, you're going to the second round if you're giving somebody a quarterback because those guys are all gone.
Yep. I mean, yeah, if let's play it out. Like I just gave you, if it's Grant, Hampton, Warren on the board and you trade out of that, that's tough. With all that good players sitting there that you could take.
I'm not trading out of that pick right now.
No.
I don't care that we only got 6 picks. You're getting a really freaking good player at 21 right now.
seems like it.
I'm not moving.
I
Unless it's a
agree.
crazy run on players we
Dude,
like between
Yeah,
now and
that's
then.
what I'm waiting for here is the bad luck of
Let's see let's see the draft order here. I've seen Colts tight end a lot. Falcons, I've seen edge. Cardinals, I have no idea. The Bengals could take Kenneth Grant.
They or Walter Nolan.
Yeah,
They could. Well, they've got
They-
like five
they
different
have-
positions on defense.
they
Yeah.
have to be going defense. They have to be.
then you get the Seahawks, the Buccaneers. A lot of people saying the Broncos want a running back, like Bob had
Could
said
the
earlier.
Bengals
So
go safety though?
I think I'd go if I were them. I'd go edge because they're going to lose.
Dude,
Well-
on defense, you just don't know. They need a lot of things on defense.
Yeah.
Do you think
they're not?
Malachi Starks?
I'm thinking
Or Eamon
or however you say his name. Yeah, because they're missing ever since they lost is it Bates.
Yeah,
Jesse
Bates.
when he left.
Yeah.
That is hurt. That is really hurt.
I'm a genius. I called Tyler Booker. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, we gave you credit,
were
Bob.
gone. Yeah, I gave you credit. I said, didn't Bob say that was going to be the
Yeah, Bengals always take our players. I can see them taking Kenneth Grant. I agree.
Bob, I think that's
And
like
Greg
your
Holt.
second one tonight. You nailed, and he's top 15.
Yeah, I close. Well, I didn't. I thought it would be Warren, not Loveland, but I had said all along. I thought.
Well, you got the
Loveland-
tight end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got the tight end part.
Tyler Booker feels early, doesn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he was a second rounder, but no, you guys said he's late first round projection.
Definitely a first rounder, but
5 years from now, though, you could look back at this draft and say he was a top 5, 10 player.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of
him.
people.
I mean,
I think I brought this up before. A lot of people raved of him being like a team captain and a clubhouse guy and all this other stuff. So yeah, I can see people liking him.
3 Dolphins on the clock. Retweets, Jesus.
Yeah,
We did
I
call
got
the San
everybody
Francisco
blue-
pick, right?
I got all kinds of people blowing up my
What's
phone.
that?
So this means Sanders, right? This means Sanders, right? And I was like, not so fast.
What, Trent, what about 49ers? They
We
picked
called
that-
Michael Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
I thought-
actually said it.
I couldn't remember if we did either. That's why I was
I
like,
don't
wait.
think we did. I think we skipped over it. Yeah, Michael Williams.
No, I said that they picked him.
Oh, okay.
I said they picked him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My bad.
No, we didn't predict that.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey's on the trade block, so was the first corner go here? Dolphins.
I think it's still a little early for this class of corners.
The Michigan.
Unless they're
corner.
There isn't
unless
that many.
they like that
that's
kid
it.
from. I don't like him. I don't think he's very good, and I'm scared the Steelers are going to pick him.
Oh, it says the pick is in,
Man.
but I don't have it. Usually
I got
Twitter
it.
gives
I
me some
got
good.
it. Bad
You got
news.
it?
Bad
Don't tell me
news.
Kenneth Grant
Kenneth Grant.
went to the Dolphins.
Yep.
Fuck.
First
Wow.
player taken. Wow. I think we're guys.
I wasn't ready for that one.
I wasn't ready for that one either.
I didn't even know they were looking at defensive line. Honestly, I
didn't
thought
either.
Yeah.
cornerback would have been probably a priority for them.
I'm a little
Wow.
sad. Like, yeah, I was kind of
Wow.
hoping he'd be an option, but
Oh, trade back starting to become an option again.
Yeah.
We just need a couple of guys to drop, and
back on the trade back.
god damn.
We got a writer for the Athletics saying that Tyler Warren might be in play here with the Colts.
Colts.
I think so. They've been tied to tight end almost the whole process.
Plus, the Colts have a weird thing with their drafts. They have like measurables you have to meet,
Yeah.
and Warren is one of the guys who met their measure.
All right. So the thing I'm using says Colts love them some Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's who they go with.
I'd be willing to bet that's the next pick.
Fuck.
Dark
Oh.
horse candidate here, Eamon Worry.
They do like their RAS freaks too. They do.
Yeah.
That's why they got stuck with the quarterback. Richardson.
Which I would hate, but I mean,
Vaughn says, fuck it, take Shedeur now. Don't lose faith. Vaughn, you're my only ally in this, for Christ's sake.
Oh God!
We got a lot of fucks after that one. A lot of people not
Yeah, look
happy.
at that. Damn.
If Warren and Hampton go back to back, Kenneth Grant go back to back,
Yeah, I'm gonna cry.
and you know the Broncos are taking fucking Hampton, so there
That
goes
only
all.
means you know who we're taking at 21.
Don't
I mean,
don't
I'm
speak it.
sorry, Dave. It's happening. My dude's down there getting hammered, dancing. he don't give a shit. None of these guys are taking him. He's not even mad. He don't even care.
That's a good question, Greg. What about if Matthew
Oh.
Golden falls to 21?
That's another one. I would love to have it.
We shouldn't talk about these guys because as soon as we say it, they're going to get picked.
Walker, Warren, Barron, Campbell, Hampton, Golden, Emmett.
Is this official?
Johnson, Sanders. What?
Relic is saying that the Colts took Warren. I haven't seen
I was reading it. I just wasn't sure if it was official. No, I just read that too.
It's
Is
official.
it? It's official. Yeah, I didn't. It doesn't surprise me.
Fuck. This is bullshit.
Back to back fucking picks.
Yeah, dude. Son of a bitch.
Who's up now? Well,
Oh, they're
we know the
showing
Falcons won't take
Dion.
Hampton from us,
They're showing
so there's still
Dion
that
and
hope.
Shador talking. They're smiling.
Yeah, Gary's got a good point here. What the fuck do we do if Nolan, Golden, and let's say the Broncos go Henderson? Then what do we do?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. They do take Shador Sanders and
Well, the guy I said run.
No,
to the
if
podium
they're
for is
on the
gone,
board,
so-
if Walter
Oh,
Nolan's
if they're all on the board,
Matthew
they meant they're off the
Golden's
board.
on the board, if Jahdae Barron is on the board,
Hey, I'm starting to feel good about my final mock this morning. I had Nolan being the pick. See what happens. I probably just cursed myself.
good.
you know, the other question I have here too is depending on how this goes for the next couple of picks, does Derek Carman, because of the injury, fall out into the second round?
Maybe.
I think Shamar Stewart goes to the Falcons here. I'm gonna call my shot. See if I get one right.
It would be the Atlanta thing to do. Pick a guy who's
They do need an edge.
he's got 1.5 sacks in 3 years.
Yeah, you're taking him because of his athletic ability and his.
Which one's
measurables.
this? Who only had one now?
Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart had
Oh.
1.5 sacks in college.
Wow. Falcons on the clock.
We have too many picks in. Yeah, but they don't have the right pick.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they told us that's the plan. We've thought about this. This was the plan for weeks. We're saving our comp picks for next year. We're saving our comp picks to get a quarterback next year.
All right, now stick with me here because I'm going to give somebody some credit that we never like to give credit to. But Andrew Filipponi had a good point on this afternoon. Those of us who want Arch Manning, I get it. We want a Manning. We would have to go 2-15 because if you are not the first overall pick, you are not trading that pick. I don't care who you are. So the only way to get there is to be 2-15.
You're right.
Which may be why Mason Rudolph is going to be our starting quarterback.
They'll go 9-8 with Mason. Book it.
And we don't even know. We think Arch Manning's a lock top 10 pick, but we don't know. He could, the way NIL is now, he could stay in college and make freaking $7 million and stay in college another year.
Trent, how would we feel if we got the number 1 pick, we were terrible, and Arch Manning, the Mannings came out and said, "There's no way we're letting our kid play in Pittsburgh."
Oh, jeez.
That'd be par for the course the way our quarterback situation's been.
Yeah, that's the only thing missing now. Some good one telling us no.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is about
just
to do.
kidding.
God bless the Colts cheerleaders.
Did you hear the rumor today that Rodgers was calling around Pittsburgh looking for a country club, golf club to join?
I saw that. Was it on the
I
Joe
didn't see it.
Starkey show?
It
I didn't
was.
see that.
That's what I saw. He was talking about that.
Pompiani was buying into it a little bit.
I feel like every time the news starts to get away, he does something to get the attention back. Like he's got the Steelers on a string, and every time they get too far away, pulls us back a little bit, while he
Rumor is-
waits for Minnesota to make up their mind or somebody
Well,
else.
The rumor is he hasn't talked to the Steelers since the McAfee show.
I heard that too.
Yeah, I'm really starting to doubt whether he comes or not. I'm really starting to question it.
Wait, what? We got somebody now, Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Guys, there's rumors about him. He's been calling, looking for houses. He's been calling
we just
golf
said-
courses.
who the hell you
Yeah.
been? We just said that.
I am need.
It's only one beer.
Nipple off that
Lightweight.
drink and all of a sudden.
He's gonna get another beer. He's lost focus.
Stop staring at the Colts cheerleaders and pay attention to what we're saying.
I am sorry. I'm paying attention to see. I'm trying to update this thing to see when the picks. Sorry, I'm trying to be focused on that. I can't. I'm not a
What is it?
multitasker.
What is this, a draft episode or something?
Dave's getting us the inside scoop on Bo Callahan, folks.
You guys keep this up. I'm gonna start drinking bourbon. Then we're really gonna see.
Oh
Jesus
boy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
This is me tame. Okay.
David has his own party. David's having his own draft party. Him and the Colts cheerleaders.
I love it.
Oh, God bless him.
For fans of the legendary pick segment, he's getting ready to put the snowsuit on and go out on the porch.
Hey, fair warning. Tomorrow will be Bourbon Friday, Cigar Friday. You will have quite the show tomorrow night.
Oh boy, we cannot wait. Especially since the Steelers don't pick till way back in the third round.
Yeah.
Oh man. Whew. By then, I'll really give some opinions. Whew.
Well, do you guys? I mean, trying to circle back to the Aaron Rodgers things for a second. Like, do you think that the pick at 21 is going to determine whether he shows up here or not? If they take Shedeur,
I think that might be enough to push him away.
Could.
I think it might be.
it's a fair question, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Because if they take Shedeur, I'm telling you, he's not going to want to wait.
mm-mm.
He's going to want to start.
I think if he's smart, he will. Now, that being said, here's another trade possibility. I'm just going to float this out there. I've been saying it. Don't count out Vegas to try to trade into the first round to get Shedeur. If they
There's
think
another team
he's
that could
really
be.
going to fall.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's another possibility. God can only hope that this is going to happen. Save them from themselves. Somebody. Anybody. Oh, boy. What are we waiting on here?
We're
Waiting on
still
the
waiting on the
Falcons.
Falcons. It looks
Yeah, we're still. Yeah.
Forever.
We're only 7 picks away, guys.
Yeah.
It's getting close now.
It really has been pretty fast moving for a first round. Carolina took forever to pick that first pick.
And not that I think this makes a ton of sense for the Steelers, but if Josh Simmons falls to 21 as a tackle, would you consider it?
I would
You're
love
gonna
to.
bump
I
it
would love
to
to know what
Connor
they think of their
McGarvey?
this tackle situation right now. If they're confident or they're
Hit
scared.
him or Jones, either one. Bump him or Jones into tackle or into guard.
I wonder if they're worried about their tackle situation.
There is talk that Fatanu they think he'd be a much better guard than a tackle.
Bro, if they take a tackle 3 straight years in a row, oh Lord.
Well, buckle up, kid. It might. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
What's Pompiani say? If you miss on a pick, you spend 5 years trying to replace it.
Yeah. Apparently. Jesus. That'd be.
I'm not sure they would do it because if you traded up for Broderick, I don't think you're going to give up on him that quickly. And Fautanu actually looked good in the very, very limited reps he had.
He did.
I don't know that you would do it, but if Josh Simmons is there, he looks like a pretty sturdy NFL starter for a while. Like an Alejandro Villanueva type guy. Nothing like elite, nothing like flashy, but like a guy who just gets the job done.
Well, let me ask you a question about Simmons. Can he play fullback?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because if he can play any other position, then the Steelers are interested. We don't want guys to play where they're supposed to play.
Isn't that why we were looking at that JJ Pegas kid?
Yeah,
because he can play
yep.
310-pound fullback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Tomlin saw that and his eyes lit up. To bring him in immediately.
He's absolutely getting picked in the later rounds.
Yeah, it probably is.
If we did go offensive line, the guy I would really be interested for them to pick would be Gray Zabel. I don't think they would do it.
I'd fall off my chair if they took him. Not that he's not talented,
Yeah.
but they showed zero interest in him, and he's a small school guy, which they never do in the first round. Yeah, that would be a shocker.
Could he join his teammate though?
I know.
As
McCormick.
Cormac Zabel, wow. I mean that would be interesting, but I don't think they do it. I don't think they can pick offensive line. I mean, I think
not today, but I mean, I'd take Wyatt Mullum if he falls down in the third round.
My man.
Dave's day.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a freaking fantastic guard at the next level.
Thank you.
Did you perhaps mistake the draft guide for the West Virginia team?
No, he said third round, Bob.
Third round.
And
Third round.
I am seeing him mocked in a lot of mocks going in the third round.
Yeah, he's kind of been falling a little bit lately.
Very
He is a
high
nice player.
third round.
He's versatile. Putting him next to Zach Frazier wouldn't be a bad thing either.
No,
But
I did.
I tell you, it wouldn't be bad.
He could be the Sayamali replacement. He honestly could probably push right now Mason McCormick to be a starter.
Yep. I agree.
Maybe. What the hell is Atlanta doing?
I don't know.
Minute 33 seconds.
It was
Holy
talking.
They're probably
the Texans.
they're probably trying to trade fucking Kirk Cousins for $20 million.
It probably. This is.
They want a second round pick and $20 million given up for Kirk Cousins.
I swear to God, I'd
I've
rather
never seen
Tommy
it go
Maddox
down
came
this.
out of retirement than watch Kirk Cousins be the Steelers quarterback.
I'm out.
Dude, we are down. I've never seen a pick go down this far.
I've seen it go down pretty far before. It's not completely unusual.
Well,
They're trying
Dave, okay.
What if
Sorry.
they miss
Sorry.
it?
Sorry.
Hasn't happened in a long time, but what if they miss it?
What team missed
That-
it?
They
back
gotta-
in the
they have
80s?
to- They have to
That's
forfeit the pick.
crazy.
Wasn't the Vikings? The Vikings did
I
that
think
one
it was
year.
the Vikings.
They
The
don't have to
Vikings
forfeit the pick, but
don't
they
think-
have to wait and pick it after that.
Right, the next pick after, and then I think the
Guys.
Vikings did it twice in a row that year.
This thing I'm using, there is no update. This is nuts.
They're working a trade. They got to be. Is this where somebody trades up for Shador?
Here it is. Kirk Cousins is coming to Pittsburgh for a first round fucking pick.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah, it says the Cardinals are on the clock, so something's going on here.
Oh,
For
not
our,
mine.
for our friend Gary, who obviously missed the McAfee show,
I got it. Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker, I just saw it too.
that's a good pick.
That's a good pick for them.
Yeah. Took forever, but
Jalen
But
Walker. That's the
for our
edge,
guy
isn't it?
Gary, 20
Yep.
million less than Rodgers. Rodgers said on the McAfee show he'd play for 10 million. So if Kirk Cousins is willing to pay us $10 million a year to play quarterback for Pittsburgh, okay, I would have to consider it.
We could throw that $10 million into the TJ Watt contract.
Exactly.
Cardinals are on the clock. I heard corner as a need for them.
No.
Man, I really like that Jalen Walker pick for Atlanta. Man, that's a really good
That's
pick.
a good pick, yeah.
Yeah.
They must be
First-
they must be really happy that he was still on the board.
Oh yeah,
All right, I'll be back.
didn't have a ton of edge rushers, like a lot of success, but they had a stout defensive line, but they didn't have a ton of like pressure. He's gonna make an impact on that defense. I like that pick a lot. Atlanta's a sneaky, decent defense. Like they've had struggles, but like they've got really good pieces there.
They do.
If they could find the right guys to put the rest of it together,
They could be a sneaky playoff team this year.
I think so too.
They're a good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our man Vaughn coming through with, although this comment he forgot to take his camera off, so I hope he doesn't do anything inappropriate there.
You hope he doesn't? I hope he does.
Yeah. But yeah, Punny, Kuiper he's out there on the island a little bit with, hey, he thinks he's better than Cam Ward, and it could happen. Look,
You know what's going on there. He's pandering to Dion.
Mel Kiper is
Yeah.
pandering to Dion.
Yes.
Mel Kiper, who's been on the air for 78 years.
Yeah, these guys all depend on their sources. They all do.
Not Kiper. Kiper is his source. He just evaluates tape all year.
No, he depends a lot. If you listen to his podcast, he gets a lot of information from other people. He does.
Let me ask you guys this, because I think I'll let you guys answer, and then I'll give my opinion after. Do you think Dion would be like a major influence if we pick Shador? Like, do you think he's actually going to affect Tomlin, the organization, be on TV all the time and talking and things like that? I mean, or do you think some of this is kind of blown out of proportion?
I think it's a little blown out of proportion, but I do think there is that danger that if things go bad, even with Mike Tomlin as the coach, I mean, Dion spent his entire college coaching career propping up Shador, making sure Shador is a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So now he goes to a team and it goes badly. He's not going to be able to help himself. Now, how much that affects the Steelers organization, you're probably right. Probably not much because you have Mike Tomlin.
What about even just like the fact that like, what if Aaron shows up here, even with Shador getting drafted, Shador sits the whole season? Do you think
That
Dion
becomes a shit
causes an
show.
issue?
It becomes a shit show. 100%.
I 1,000,000%
You know,
disagree because of the Brady influence there. Brady told it has on record quarterbacks need to sit, and he coached Shador. So I think this is all overblown about the idea that Deion's it's kind of the same stuff we heard with Joey Porter, that we don't want Joey Porter Jr. because he'll influence. Look, if Deion thought his kid was being mistreated, he's got the microphone to say it. But I don't think he's going to think he's being mistreated if he's sitting a year behind Aaron Rodgers. Now, if Aaron retires and Shador doesn't go to the top of the depth chart, then I think Deion would be more like, hey, what the fuck? My kid's better than Mason Rudolph.
And then, what do you think, Trent?
So I put some thought into this because I'm not like a Shador fan like at all, honestly. Like I've kind of been against him throughout the whole process. I don't want Pittsburgh to draft him. I've never wanted Pittsburgh to draft him. But like having said all that, like I really think that he gets a lot of unfair criticism because of Deion being his dad. And I think people blow it way, way out of proportion. I mean, this dude is a college coach at a D1 school in the Big 12. Like he's not coaching Jackson State anymore. Like he's got to be recruiting 24/7. He doesn't have time to be putting into some of this crap that people think he's going to be doing. Now, I agree with Bob. Like, if Mason Rudolph is the freaking starter and we're 6 weeks in and his kid's still sitting, he's probably going to be like, come on, like, guys, seriously, like, let's get something going. But, like, how many times have you ever seen a father who was a pro athlete in the game of football ever really throw a fit about their kid not playing or not getting the treatment that they deserve or this or that? Because I don't recall any of them because they've been through it. Like they know the process, they know the game, they know what it takes to make it. Like I don't think he would. I mean, Joey Sr. didn't say nothing when Joey Porter was clearly better than freaking Levi Wallace. Like it was undeniable.
Great point. Great.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
and he never said a freaking word. So like I don't think it'd be as much of an issue as people think.
Him and Tomlin are tight, so I didn't expect Joey Porter to say anything. I don't think anybody's ever had a father with this big an audience, this big a say. I mean, Deion is bigger than Colorado. He's bigger than the Big 12.
Oh,
He's bigger than college football. He's a huge, huge star. And I can see, when you brought up Aaron Rodgers, I could see Aaron Rodgers saying some, subliminal stuff like, Shador's not really ready. And I could see Shador getting pissed off. I could see this thing turning into a kind of a soap opera.
Yeah.
Having said that, I mean, again, it's Mike Tomlin. If it was anybody else, I think it would be different.
That's why I didn't think the Saints thing with him made sense. Even if the Saints had interest, like Tomlin does carry clout, whether you like Tomlin or not.
Yeah,
he has clout. These 100%. Pros love him. They know him. They respect him. Deion, I think, would respect him enough not to. I saw it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's okay. I just think that Deion respects Tomlin enough to kind of let Tomlin run his show, unless something really dumb happens, like we're week 6 and Mason Rudolph's still fucking playing for some reason.
Walton Nolan went to the Cardinals, and now the Bengals are on the clock. They could take Harmon, and then we'd be really fucked.
I don't.
Oh,
I was coming around on Harmon until this injury stuff surfaced. I think it would be a bad pick at this point.
Beat reporter for the Cincinnati Bengals says the Bengals are likely between Mike Green and Shamar Stewart.
Oh, they do need an edge. I think they wanted Nolan. They might have gotten sniped on Nolan. Oh, boy.
I think they got sniped too.
Okay.
We're getting the game face on now.
I'm getting close here.
Yeah, we got to grab the towels.
Oh, boy. Nolan's gone, Dave.
There goes the towel.
Oh,
that's a good pick for the Cardinals. They got a good player. I like Walton Nolan a lot.
And
it's a smart play too. I mean, Cardinals have done some weird things in the past. So
he's got some red flags too, but if he plays up to his ability,
dude, my son is amped. he was like, they're getting Shedeur Sanders. He's amped.
If this keeps playing out, he's probably not wrong.
I mean, what is it between now? I mean,
It's still got wide receivers on the board.
Almost all the wide receivers. Only Tet
Yeah.
McMillan, right?
Yeah.
Tet was the only one.
You got Golden, and depending on how you feel about it, Luther Burden.
Mekabuka.
They like a Mekabuka too, yeah.
There is still one hurdle to jump if you're on the Shedeur train, and that's Seattle. Seattle could very much take a quarterback.
And the trade. There's still a thought of a trade.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to watch Denver here, because if they're getting the buzz, I mean, Nick Farabaugh said this morning, if Nolan's gone, the Steelers want Hampton. So if that's true, then Denver's got to lead. Well, Denver's ahead of the Steelers, so I guess
No, Denver's
okay.
one pick ahead. So if it's Trevion Henderson, are we happy?
No.
Not this early. I love Trevion Henderson, but not this early.
I wouldn't
Dave
say
almost jumped out of his fucking seat. No.
I
think I would be.
I wouldn't say happy, but I would kind of get it, because if they really think he's Jahmyr Gibbs, if they believe that, then I guess you can't fault it as long as he turns out to be that.
The only problem is we don't have the Detroit coach coaching this offense to get the most out of a Jahmyr Gibbs type player. I don't know. It always goes back to that.
Yeah. Be interested to see what Arthur Smith would do with him, because if you got the Bijan Algier split out of him and Jalen Warren, it might not be too bad. And then Gainwell fills the Cordarrelle Patterson role, and Cordarrelle Patterson,
fills the guard role,
moves to Primantes and becomes the taster. Then
Oh.
this could work out.
If the Bengals take Harmon, but obviously defensive tackles off the board at this point, then you got to.
I think, you're waiting on defensive line until at minimum third round. If Harmon's gone, I don't think Shamar Stewart's a first round grade guy.
Yeah, some people do. He's a weird prospect.
He's like athletic, but he's not like. I don't think the production is not there for him. Like I don't know.
Yeah, there is no production. Like 1.5 sacks.
Yeah, I just don't see it with him.
Lance Zerline says Walter Nolan is one of the 6 most talented players in this draft. If Arizona can get full buy-in on him, it'll be a massive steal.
I don't disagree. I mean, we heard that from Tony Pauline, that he thought Walter Nolan was the best player in the draft, or best defensive lineman in the draft.
Could the Bengals be looking at corner here? Jade Barron or Will Johnson hasn't been taken yet. Like, I mean, they need help kind of all over.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're looking for an impact guy, Jade Barron's probably the most impactful defensive player left, right? He's like a big time slot corner. He makes,
yeah.
I don't know.
So if they take a little while here, watch out for the Bills maybe trading up. If the Bengals are willing.
Well, let's see here.
The Bengals to trade down to get more picks so they could fill out the defense would be smart.
Guys, they're saying Bengals Shamar Stewart.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The Pirates called up Gorski today, and he homered in his first major league at bat.
Wow.
They're only about 3 fucking weeks late, but I'll let that go for now.
So you think Shamar Stewart's the pick?
It is. I just saw it too. Yeah.
All right.
Jordan Schultz just posted it.
So we are.
That's not bad for us, though.
3 picks away now.
Yeah, Seattle's interesting here. They probably should go wide receiver, as far as I'm concerned. I could see
I'll just
them
talk
going,
about crazy trades here and there. We've only had one trade. It was a big one.
There was a big one,
but we only had one so far.
This kind of gets into we're starting to get into the part of the draft where if the trades do happen, they start to come fast and furious.
Yeah. Shamar Stewart. I'm kind of surprised the Bengals went that way.
I'm fine with it though.
This is going to be. I don't
Would
know.
Harmon be a letdown at this point?
No, I don't think it'd be a letdown.
I think it would just be the wrong pick because I think you can get a better player.
I'm more, I guess, kind of day. I'm more upset now that we got so close to Warren and then so close to Nolan and and Grant going as early as he did. I didn't see that happen either. Like, I don't know. Like, I am kind of disappointed.
I'd really like to see him trade down now at this point.
I still think there's a lot of good players. I still think it's going to be tough.
On the board still, right?
Yeah, it's going to be really, really
All the
tough to
wide
trade down.
So you got Golden, Eminori, Shador Sanders. Calm down, Dave.
I'm
Derek Harmon, Amarian Hampton, Emeka Ibuka. Like, it's going to be hard to trade down. I think it's going to be hard to trade down.
You need a team right now that, like a Buffalo, theoretically, who loves a defensive player so much that they want to get ahead of the the last third of the draft. That's your only hope to trade, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Unless you want to go out of the first round and have like the Giants or somebody who wants to, maybe Cleveland that wants to come back into the first round to go get Sanders. I mean, you're gonna find out real quick if Pittsburgh wants Sanders or not.
Yeah,
like it's sneaking up here.
Yep, we're 3 picks away.
If they trade back to 30, they might still be able to get Shador.
I think they might.
Again,
it's all if somebody's going to trade up from that second round to come in and grab him. There's no quarterback needy team left but the Steelers now.
Yeah, Greg is saying that NFL Network is saying teams might be talking to the Steelers. I think the Bills are a team to watch. I keep saying it, but I really feel like the Bills are the team that want to go from 30 into the high 20s or low 20s and get Jahdae Barron. I don't know why they love him personally. I mean, other than he's an elite corner, I don't know that I would trade up to get an elite slot corner.
I kept seeing that they want Matthew Golden too. I don't know.
Well,
pair him up with Coleman.
Yeah, that would be a nice combination.
It's getting interesting.
Yeah, it's getting very interesting.
Harmon, Eminore, or Golden, I'm happy. Not in that order, by the way. I'd rather, at this point now, maybe fucking just trade back.
The Seahawks are talking trade down.
I'm so
Jordan
mad,
Schultz.
man. Fuck.
Oh boy.
I feel like Harmon. The problem is
Giants to take a quarterback. I can feel it trading up here.
The last couple of years, I loved Darnell Washington. He was my number one wish for the Steelers, not necessarily in the first round. And I loved Peyton Wilson. And both those guys slid into the late third because of injury concerns. Wouldn't be shocked if Harmon falls like that.
Is it the injury concerns really that bad with him? I didn't see it.
With both of them, it was.
It usually isn't Omar, so I would think.
Yeah, Dale Ellie just said it appears the Seahawks are trading down.
This could be Denver moving up. It could be.
I think the Giants. want a quarterback.
What if it's the Steelers?
I know. That's what I thought.
That'd be wild. Why would they trade that far up for who?
Ahead of the.
Who's got to get ahead of Denver? If you want Omarion Hampton, you got to get ahead of Denver.
Man, they would be the team to trade up for a running back in the first round. It's bad enough you're not supposed to take a running back in the first round and trade up for one. Holy fuck.
In the deepest running back class in 30 fucking years, we're going to trade up for a goddamn running back. That would be a Tomlin thing to do.
That would break the internet right now.
That would be peak Steelers right there.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
That being said, I mean,
I'm walking away if it happens. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I got to walk away if that happens.
If we can.
You might lose one of us no matter what the pick is at this point.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I got it. Seahawks select Gray Zabel.
They stayed. They didn't
They
trade.
stayed.
Ooh, interesting. That's a good pick for them because their offensive
good-
line
yeah.
might be the worst of the NFL.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had Wyatt Milam ahead of him, but that's okay.
You
All
did
right,
too.
we're 2 picks away now.
And,
What does Tampa
guess
do? I have no idea what Tampa needs.
No idea.
Probably receiver. Well, I take that back. They're probably going to go on the defensive side of the ball here, but they did. Mike Evans is getting old. Godwin's coming off that injury.
Yeah, they could go wide. They've got their pick of the wide receivers except for Tet. Everyone
Yeah.
else is on the board. And we think Denver's taking a running back from everything I've heard. They like Hampton a lot.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if Denver doesn't go running back. I'd be absolutely shocked. Although
Tampa
honestly,
doesn't need defensive tackle, do they? They wouldn't sneak in and take Harmon here.
Tampa's defense is okay, but there's I could see maybe that. I think an edge would be more likely for Tampa.
Let's see. Let me look at that depth chart real quick.
Got Tampa then Denver.
I wouldn't count out a corner here.
I could see them taking Barron. Let's see. Their defensive line is they got Vita Vea.
He's old.
Older, yeah. Looks like they play a 3-4, so they might like Harmon.
Will Johnson might be a decent fit.
He's fallen. I thought he was going to, everyone said he was going to be a top 20 pick.
Yeah, he was a projected top 10 pick, wasn't he?
Yeah. It'd be hard for me to pass on him at 21.
That's a good one.
You got both the safeties that everybody loves out there. Even Worry, Malachi Starks.
Who's the Tampa Bay safeties? I got Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, I was gonna say Winfield.
And Christian Isian, free safety. Never heard of him.
Yeah, James Pierce maybe from an edge perspective.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going defense, although I have to believe they didn't think any way in the world that Matthew Golden was sitting there when they came up on the clock.
A lot of people haven't. I certainly didn't.
I mean, honestly, Dallas kind of fucked it up for everybody by taking Tyler Booker.
Yeah, they kind of threw everything for a little bit of a loop there.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't love the player, but I think, there are people, Trent, I think it's valid that Igbuka is the kind of guy they might like. I just have this feeling he's going to end up in Baltimore. It'd probably be pretty good, but I have a feeling at this point, he's more of a Baltimore guy.
We only had what? One wide receiver? Two?
Just
Awesome.
one.
Well, yeah, one if you're depending if you're counting Travis Hunter, but yeah.
Yeah. Ted McMillan's the only one so far.
Wow. So yeah. Or I'm sorry.
That's gotta be some kind of
Ted
record.
Got, what's his name got taken?
Who?
Not Hunter, the other guy.
Ted McMillan.
He's the only true wide receiver, right?
So
yeah,
I mean,
okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter is, but
Well, no, nobody brought him up, and
And Warren and Loveland, tight ends.
Tight ends, yeah.
The board.
One wide receiver in the first 20 picks is unusual.
Yeah, it is.
Even two is unusual if you count Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Schefter put Buccaneers picking. Okay, you want to give us some more detail, bud?
That's a little
we,
weak there, buddy.
we know they're on the clock.
They're gonna take
Captain Obvious over here. Yes, we know that they're picking something.
I guess he means they're not trading out.
Jordan Schultz says a ton of activity at the bottom of this draft. Teams looking to trade down. A couple of QB needy teams are willing to make calls.
Oh boy.
Poppy Ann is putting that Cleveland and the Giants might be looking to get ahead of the Steelers to get one of the QBs.
The only team they can trade with now is Denver if Buccaneers are picking.
It'd be interesting if Denver put out the smoke screen on Hampton, and we're like, okay, we're good with Hampton or Henderson, whichever one is there, and they move back.
Yeah.
Getting close to trade up for quarterback territory for some teams post Seahawks pick. That's Benjamin Albright. I thought we would add more trades than this.
Yeah, unless we might be going pretty wild here at the bottom of this.
Yeah, at the bottom of this could get crazy.
I could definitely see Cleveland and the Giants trying to get back into the first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know Faribault and I think a couple others have been pretty adamant that if the Steelers trade back, picks Mill Row, which I would not like, but they said if they go backwards, then you can almost book it.
Bucks took Abuka.
So it's a good pick for them.
Are you watching what I'm watching? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Draft Diamonds guy usually is way ahead of everybody else. Is that what you're watching too?
Yep.
Yeah. So Abuka. All right, well, one pick away. Denver's on the clock.
If someone trades in front of him, it's either a blessing in disguise or.
He says Broncos have been listening to calls. Could be interested spot if someone wants to jump the Steelers for a quarterback. Yeah, we've known that.
I mean, that's quite the jump, unless it's the Rams.
Well, if everyone's scared that the Steelers are going to take Shador and that's who they want, then it could be Saints, could be
they're
not Saints,
showing
Browns.
Shador on TV right now.
Oh,
Him
boy.
and Dion standing next to each other, still laughing. Deion Sanders put the rejected will be respected.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to deal well with this. I'm just going to tell you guys right now.
You're gonna deal with it. You got no choice.
I'm going to try my best. I'm going to put my shit aside and hope he does well. But
Your only hope.
Greg's pointing out the wide receiver room in Tampa. I think that pick means they have real doubts that Godwin is coming back healthy.
Could be.
I mean, it might be take till mid-season till he's in.
Something.
Well, Abuka also plays a ton in the slot at Ohio State, so like he could be a third option right now if they just wanted to kind of keep giving weapons to Baker Mayfield and keep that offense rolling. Like, but if Godwin is going to be slow to get started this season, he's got versatility to play outside. So I think it makes a ton of sense for them on both sides of that.
Matthew Golden, third wide receiver. A little surprised at that. Maybe third. He hasn't even picked yet. So
I was never high on him. Like he's got the intangibles are all there, but his entire production came in the college football playoff. Like his whole fucking year's production was the college football playoff. Like,
is that Quinn?
I probably in part, but like I don't know. I mean, this wasn't the only college he played for either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got to own some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. Yeah. All right, one pick away, guys.
This could be.
This
could
is
take a while. They might use up the whole 10 minutes.
They probably will. They're probably getting a million calls.
I don't trust this dude's sources. I ain't even putting this out here.
Who is it?
Uh-oh.
That fucking Kevin Adams dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, Harmon's still on the board.
Good Lord. They're showing all these different wide receivers from Ohio State over the last 5 years. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's about 5 more in that room ready to go, too.
Yeah, the best one is still to come.
Yeah,
The best one's
Jeremiah
2 years away.
Jeremiah
Yeah.
Smith is going to be fucking day one the best player to walk on the field.
Probably.
And he
Period.
can't come out next year either. He's got to
No.
wait 2 years, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
True freshman, and he was the best receiver in football last year, and he's probably
He's the reason why they turned it around like they did and won the whole fucking thing.
he's a stud. I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was like one of the best receivers I'd seen in college. This kid makes him look like a fucking bum. He's that good. He's that good.
Call him Marvin Harrison a bum.
I mean, that's just how good he is, man. I remember
some
Marvin
praise right there. That's
No joke. He's that good.
I mean, I watched Marvin to come as a sophomore and start to grow, and I'm like, man, this dude's like the fucking next guy to Ohio State. And then this kid walks in as a true freshman, and I'm like, man, he just bitch slapped everybody who was coming in before. And like, what just happened?
It's about to be the nightmare scenario, though, honestly, because Golden, potentially Hampton, Shador,
it's coming.
Eamon Worry.
It's coming down to where they will go back and see if they made a huge mistake here, like because of missing out. Like, not if you don't take one of those guys, and instead you take Sanders, and he doesn't end up turning out to be good, or what. Like, there's all those scenarios where you're gonna be like, wow, they really messed up.
Yeah, what if you could have added Matthew Golden to the room?
Dave, did you see this? He just tweeted, Giants want back in round 1.
Yeah, I just saw it. I heard that like Jackson Dart, but I also heard that there's some, I think I said this before, that there's some disagreement in that building.
Look, if you were convinced they were going to take Jackson Dart,
dude,
I think you'd have to really consider it.
Sam Farmer put on.
Yeah, I don't know who Sam Farmer is, but
he said it'll get really interesting. The Steelers take Milroe. I will. Okay, here we
Dude.
go. There's my player. I leave the show. Gone. I walk
Don't.
off the screen.
I've been saying this for a month. Don't rule it out.
Bro.
Don't rule it out.
Is he better than Amari and Hampton?
No, not
at running back.
Yeah,
maybe.
You can't.
All right.
You can't do Milroe at 21. You have to trade back to do Milroe.
Yeah,
well, they can do anything they want, Bob.
That's true. They could. But I mean, look, if the Giants are willing to go 34-65, and you can get Milroe, who I don't.
I guess
like.
you could get Milroe
I do
at
not
34.
like. Yeah, I don't like him. But if you're gonna do that, then okay, fine.
Now Pony's jumping on board with the Derek Harmon thing.
It's a letdown. I'm sorry.
Well, if Pony says it's Harmon,
There's a good chance it's Shador Sanders.
Yeah,
It's got to be the complete opposite side of the ball. It cannot be anything related to the trenches. Oh man,
come on, let's go, Denver.
And Denver announces they're trading with the Browns.
Browns are Giants.
I mean,
minute 18 on the TV, guys. Holy shit!
What?
On the
oh,
TV,
Mike Garofalo is saying the Broncos are staying put at 20.
Nice.
It's got to be Hampton then.
If they're staying put, it's Hampton, I think.
Would they go wide receiver and take Matthew Golden? Give some weapons to Bo Nix?
They could.
I mean, they don't have a lot.
Wait, what's his name? So yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, if I could get a young wide receiver that I think is an explosive guy to pair with my quarterback, that's also going into year 2, it makes more sense to me in a running back heavy class to take the receiver and then go get your running back later on.
Denver's pick is in on the TV.
They could go to Shador.
No trade.
But he is.
I mean,
Bo Nix.
He's Bo Nix like.
What's better than Bo Nix?
Jahdae Barron to the Broncos. What?
Jahdae Barron?
Jahdae Barron. What?
Wow.
Hampton is on the board for the Steelers.
No.
Oh, Marion Hampton?
I don't want Hampton.
No?
Okay, so this is the third person now saying Derek Harmon to the Steelers. Chris Carter from Locked On Steelers podcast.
Yeah.
He's saying sources Derek Harmon to the Steelers.
Oh boy.
That was my pick on the pod Monday.
I don't know.
They do need a defensive tackle.
It could be Shador Sanders.
You got to trade down. You could probably still get Harmon at 28.
I think you could too.
29, 30. But they won't. They won't. If they're locked onto their guy, they won't trade down.
I honestly, I can't fathom them going Pac-12 2 years in a row. Even though I guess he's Big Ten now, but I mean,
Chris Carter's got some.
He's still. We were at his pro day, right? I mean, he was in for a visit. He kind of checks boxes.
They didn't go to Harmon's pro day.
Didn't they send? They sent one of the.
They sent a scout there. Yeah.
Was it just a scout?
I think so.
It was a scout.
Okay.
They also did the same thing for Hampton, Sanders, Golden, and even Worry, though.
And even if you want to get technical, Fuatano too. No one went out there.
Yeah.
Dude, my son's gonna be so mad upstairs if they don't take Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders, Omarion Hampton on the board, and they take.
He acts like it's so automatic.
I mean, I was saying all along, if you get to this point, the value of the quarterback, and even if you miss as the first round pick, they've already shown they will move on quickly in 2 or 3 years. Look, what if you take Shedeur and he sucks this year and next year? Arch Manning stays in school, and then you suck in 2027 and you get Arch Manning.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Bobby.
I think based on this board, I would rather go with either Matthew Golden or just take Shedeur at this point. I'm not unless you get a really good trade back option. I don't
You
know.
guys don't like Harmon at all.
I'm not as high on Harmon as everybody else is. I'm
not
been
either.
high on him.
But like I said, he's got injury concerns, so he's right up their fucking alley.
If Omarion Hampton is the pick, I'm not going to hate it. Not just because I locked him as the first round pick.
Running back in the first round.
I don't know if I can take this anticipation anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Now we got another one
I
reporting.
can't believe the Broncos took. Another one said Harmon.
Steelers Now is saying Derek Harmon. I haven't seen anything official, but
Derek Harmon, draft diamonds.
There it is.
God damn it! I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
That's why I've been picking D lineman to go in the first round. Like they needed a D lineman.
They did.
This feels a little like.
Why are you down though? What is it you're down about? I mean, he was projected top 4 D linemen out of the group.
We got the fourth best.
Way ahead of, and Grant was projected down further than he was.
You get the fourth best defensive lineman with the second or third best wide receiver on the board, the second best running back on the board.
I get it.
You know, trade down with Shedeur Sanders there. Get assets. Do something.
I never thought they were going to go wide receiver in the first round, though.
I don't know.
I mean, Derek Harmon brings more pass rush than what we have right now out of Keanu Benton. I mean, he's a guy that they comp pretty similarly to Cam Hayward. He's a guy who had one breakout season, though, to me. Like, he broke out at Oregon. He had a decent year at Michigan State before he transferred. I'm sure he's going to be a fine player if he stays healthy. I'm just not sure I love the pick.
Feels a little Audie Burns to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had their mindset on Kenneth Grant or something, and he went, so it's the next best guy.
This is like Terrell Edmonds. We were reaching for a guy at a position that we wanted to draft in the first round.
It does feel a little bit like that.
I think this dude could have slid down to 28 if you would have traded with the Bills. I think he slides to 28, and you still have a chance to get him.
I got to Google his injury concerns because I saw somebody mention it, but I didn't.
It didn't really come up. It didn't really come up in the process until like right at the end, though, which was interesting.
Did you guys see what Mel Kiper said?
No.
What?
Shedeur Sanders will come back to haunt these organizations that are passing him up.
Yeah, he's been carrying that water all. Medical concerns revealed. Steelers top draft prospect. Two Pac-12 team. Well, two West Coast team. Two. That's unusual for the Steelers. I can't say Pac-12 anymore because it doesn't exist. But
2 West Coast teams back to back. I mean,
Wow.
interesting.
it's a little depressing. Not depressing. Disappointing.
I'm not.
is a better
I'm
word.
fine. I'm good. I think that was a good pick. My son's melting down upstairs.
It doesn't say anything about his injuries. Yeah.
He's going, oh my God. Oh my God. They didn't take him. Michael, you good, bud?
Look,
No.
if
No, I can hear that. Later.
can you imagine though? I mean, even I might have to start criticizing Omar. We lost a whole season with Fatano. Even if he
Oh,
turns
if this
into
guy gets injured this year,
and
if this guy doesn't play,
Guys, are you watching the film? Like, this is. I don't think he was a bad pick. It's a good pick.
no. He's a good player. I get it.
55 pressures in 2024.
You got the 25th overall at pick 21. I'm with Dave. He's the 4th defensive lineman off the board. You could have had the 2nd best wide receiver. You could have had O'Marion Hampton, the 2nd best running back.
I think the trade back thing really bugs me the most.
This, again, I said this a little bit ago. This will be where we come back to where they fucked up at. Like, if he ends up not doing good, we will come back and be like, they really. So we'll see.
I'm going to just kind of read his measurables off here since, he's the pick. So Derek Carmen, again, is the pick. 6'5", 313. We love the hand size. 10 3/8 inch hand size. Arm length 34 3/8, which is good for a defensive tackle. Wingspan 83 3/4. He ran a 4.95 40, which is really good. He has some of their kind of evaluation of him. Good size for an NFL defensive tackle with a thick build and long arms. Impressive upper body strength to gain control of the block to get extension against interior offensive linemen as a run defender. Takes on blocks as a wide base. Good pad level. Stays in his gap against double teams and combo blocks. Has a nice rip move. Aggressive as the pick player in inline games to catch offensive linemen off guard and get penetration. Flashed a solid arm over move as a pass rusher. His negatives: has a habit of dropping his hands as a pass rusher. Let offensive lineman get to his chest. Hips are a little tight. Needs to develop as a counter move. Gap discipline as a run defender can improve. Hand placement can get widened against the run. So, I mean, overall, not like bad. And they gave him a Leonard Williams comp. If Leonard Williams is what you get,
yeah,
I don't think you're going to be mad.
I totally agree. I guess the only, I hate to be the picker of nits here, but I'm with Dave. I think it's you're getting the 3rd or 4th best guy with injury concerns. But I mean, at this point, I always say a trend is a trend is a trend. Omar doesn't give a fuck about injuries.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find out. I can't find anything specific on his injuries.
I never saw anything until like right at the end here where it got brought up.
They always do this. We don't hear shit, and then within 48 hours, it drops. Oh, he's got all these injuries. Like, what? Same thing happened with Fotanu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't hear a lot about Fuatano's injuries until late when he started to fall. And everyone's like, why is he falling? And I think it was Rappaport who said, well, there's injury concerns with this guy. And we're like, what?
All it says is that he was reported to have a shoulder issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope. Look, I
don't know if we can put this guy in that chat.
Who's that?
Not that one. Pick the wrong one. This one. 6 Rings Foxborough. I don't know if this is allowed.
I don't.
Fucking Patriots fan.
Yeah. What? I just think
Well, I do agree with his point, though.
yeah. I think there's teams that like him and there's teams that don't. And I think Mel Kiper is right. You know, at this point, should the Steelers consider? I don't even know how you could trade back up at this point. I really don't.
Take what?
And nor should you. It would cost too much.
To what? Trade back up?
Back up.
Yeah, I don't.
Not necessarily to take Sanders. I mean, there are other guys here who we were really high on.
Well, they didn't take a quarterback, so we're back on they're hoarding picks next year so they're not going to trade up.
I would try to trade a pick next year to get into the second round if I could. You have 11 picks right now in next year's draft, I think. So like you have a ton of picks to trade back in. If a team's willing to wait till next year, that'll be the tough part.
Yeah, that's.
Oh. We got the Chargers pick. We got the Chargers
you almost
pick.
have to have a player at this point in the deal to
Yeah.
get into the second. I mean, I guess you could trade 2 of your potentially 4 thirds, but you can't trade a comp pick this early.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, they got what, 3 threes or 4 threes or whatever. I mean, they could
Theoretically, yeah. Pickens walks, they could get to 4.
Well, the fourth one wouldn't be until 2027.
Yeah, it'd be the next following.
Yeah, it'd be the comp pick for 27.
What I'm saying is they could trade their 3rd pick. They could use that.
All right, do you get crazy and trade TJ to Buffalo?
No.
Oh boy.
No, Bob. I think you're.
No, Bob.
What have you been drinking?
That's the only way I could see you getting to 30 or 56.
They're not going. They're going to stay. They're going to stay put.
Yeah,
They're stay
you're
put.
right.
This is going to be could be a solid but unspectacular draft class. That's what's going to end up happening because now you don't have a pick till the 3rd round. I have no idea where they go there. Maybe running back at that point.
Well, there's also this question. Let's say no quarterback gets picked in the rest of the round. And now you go to tomorrow where you got the Giants and the Browns back to back, and they go Shador and Dart. If the Steelers really do love Milroe like it's rumored, is that the guy they try to move heaven and earth to go up and get?
It's almost as bad as trading up for a running back. If they trade up assets for Milroe now,
No, dude, that is.
I could stomach it.
I'd stay put because if the Saints end up taking Milroe because they would be the other team that might need a quarterback here, then you have Tyler Shuck that's going to fall right in your lap in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else would need a quarterback.
Going to the Steelers. And had him on the box Monday, too. I think.
Who'd you have? Shuck?
Yeah.
I could possibly see it. Again, I just think they're going to stay away from quarterback. Maybe 5th, 6th round.
Yeah, I think the way it's falling, if you were going to tell me McCord, Ewers, Howard in the 5th, and I really don't like Will Howard, but I don't like Jalen Milroe either. So, I mean, at this point, if I'm taking a flyer in the 5th, I really don't care who it is.
In the 5th, yeah. I mean, shit. But then, yeah, you really are it's whatever.
I mean, Derek Harmon has the potential to become something. I mean, we shouldn't be as down. I think it's just
I don't
all the
know
other names we heard
down.
floating
You guys
around.
are way down, and I'm like, dude, he was technically projected higher than Grant.
But according to CBS, way above Grant. They had Grant all the way down at 36.
Yeah, I saw mocks that had projection like Grant was way down.
I didn't see it. I thought Grant was a lot better than him.
But hey, sometimes you get a team that likes a player more than the other. Like they really
Yeah.
like a guy and they take him. Then good
Grant's-
for him. But like I'm fine with Harmon. Am I like jumping for joy? Like no, but like I think it's a solid pick.
It's a good pick. I just felt like you could have gotten him later. So like I think if you wanted to get some extra picks, the trade down, I still feel like you could have gotten him in a later scenario. I don't know who behind us. I mean, maybe they feel like the Chargers could have been a team that would have been in the mix to go get him if he would have kept falling. Like, I don't know.
And we got our friend from the draft professor who can talk to us about the pick. Bring in Jim Wickens here. Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Are you
Good. What's going on?
Buffalo didn't trade up for Jade?
I actually think that Buffalo's more likely to go defensive tackle or wide receiver or safety.
Okay.
I bet wide receiver at this point.
So this is interesting with the way this is falling, right? With the number of mock drafts that were done, the only one that even resembled this was the first one that we did, where all the defensive tackles were off the board by like pick 21.
Wow.
Chargers took Hampton.
Nice.
What?
They might.
No,
He's
might-
gonna get cut.
No way. No way.
And
We might-
realistically, I think in your fantasy drafts, Hampton should be RB1. I would take Hampton with the Chargers over Genty.
Dude, poor Najee.
He might get cut tomorrow.
He's the
In
backup.
fantasy.
Dude, he's the backup running back. Wow.
We may regret passing on Hampton in 3 years. I'm telling you, that kid is so good. I know running back in the first round, blah, blah, blah. Man.
You bitched for 2 years about taking a running back in the first round.
I know. But in this draft,
But
in
they
this
took a
draft,
bad
And I
running
endured
back
it.
in the
I
first-
endured it for 2 years. You bitching about this.
I did also say that I wanted the kid from Detroit there.
Oh,
His name-
Gibbs.
Yeah.
Gibbs.
Yeah.
I called Gibbs. I said he was going to be unbelievable.
Dude, I can't even imagine what Najee's thinking.
He's
That
got
is
to be
pretty
losing
wild.
his mind.
That's got to be pretty wild.
So what did you guys think of the Harmon pick?
It's a little with so much smoke about Shador Sanders and Kenneth Grant and all these other guys. It's I don't even know how to describe it. It was a little bit of a letdown.
Okay.
Not for me. I'm fine with the pick. I think it's a solid pick.
Because you mocked him.
I did mock him. I mean, look,
What did you think?
That's what I wanted for Buffalo. So
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well.
So I think it's a really good pick. I think I think there's a pretty good statement that the NFL values defensive tackles. This board is wiped clean.
Yeah.
What was it? 21 picks in. Right?
What's really funny is that Tomlin stood there next to Khan and said the defensive tackles are a disappearing thing like fullbacks
Well,
in their
nose tackle. Not
Nose
defensive
tackle,
he
yeah.
said?
Nose
Okay.
tackle.
He said
I
nose
was like,
tackle.
is he trying to throw the scent off there on what they're thinking about doing? And now look what happens.
But I feel like a statement's been made in this where, you know, the whole defensive line isn't a premium position thing. It's been thrown right out the window with this draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And defensive tackles are so hard to find. You know, like if you look at like which positions hit free agency, you can always get a wide receiver. You can always find an interior offensive lineman in free agency. But the positions that are really hard to find are left tackle, edge rusher, and then defensive tackle. Right? Like if you're picking one of those guys up in free agency, it's usually because there's a lot of wear and tear on them.
Yeah.
Or they're, let's say, the twilight of their career, like a Calais Campbell, right? But you're not going to see a Chris Jones or an Aaron Donald or any players of that caliber hit free agency. So if you're trying to build a football team, you need to draft defensive tackles and you need to draft them frequently.
It's a copycat league too, right? Everyone sees the success Philly had.
Yep.
And everybody wants that now, including the Steelers and Andy Weidel, former Eagle. So,
what do you guys think Green Bay's going to do here?
That's a great question.
Azare Thomas.
I think it's too early for him. I would not. Will Johnson's still on the
Will
board.
Johnson's on the board. That's what I was going to say.
Johnson doesn't hit the Packers' thresholds.
Oh, they're another team that likes
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
athletes.
right.
That's
Good point.
like
Good point.
like we should be able to predict the Packers picks almost as effectively as we can predict the Colts picks.
Yeah.
Right? Like Mike Green, I don't believe he has the arm length. So I don't think it would be him. So
Did they go in and worry?
Packers, a lot of wide receiver talk with the Packers, right?
and the Packers never go wide receiver in round one, so maybe they break
That's
that.
true too, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Good point.
See, so like Emma hits the athletic threshold. I was told that Green Bay doesn't need a safety.
Yeah.
Because I did do that mock with a safety to Green Bay, and I was criticized by my Packers guy. Azare Thomas feels like he would fit, as with Tyleek Williams.
Ooh, that's a good point. That's got to be the guy you're hoping falls at this point, right?
And at this point, I'm pretty much team trade back for Buffalo and see if we can get a third rounder on the trade back. Like get a second and a third and give up a fifth and a sixth. Because I can see New Orleans. So my prediction for Buffalo would be New Orleans trades up. Buffalo would also give up a fifth and a sixth, or excuse me, a fourth and a sixth to New Orleans. And then we would get New Orleans third. So we would get a second and a third on the trade back. And anything Buffalo can do to get a third is kind of like the agenda that Brandon Beane kind of goes into the draft with. You have to do something to get a third round pick. And for those Steelers fans that are watching, Buffalo traded its third round pick for Amari Cooper, so they don't have one.
All right,
gotcha.
This is a great draft for second and third round picks.
Oh, yes, It is. Yes, it is. So I think there's going to be some teams trading up to get quarterbacks really soon.
I thought it would have happened already, but yeah, you're right. It's got to be coming, right?
So the Rams would be a factor. I can see the Steelers trading back up to get Milroe. I know that you may not want to hear that, but like, could you imagine? Like, is there like a George Pickens plus something to Buffalo to come in and get Milroe?
Oh God, if they trade George Pickens for Milroe, oh my God.
That's Jim. We've been talking about that though.
Not that it wouldn't happen, but I would be upset if it did.
Everything we had heard was if the Steelers traded back, the pick was Milroe, which we don't love, but that seemed to be the buzz. Now the question becomes, because I've heard Cleveland loves Milroe, and it really would be interesting if it's Shador and Milroe sitting there at the start of round 2.
And Shador is a really good fit for that Cleveland offense. So I would think that Cleveland is more likely to trade up so that, like, Philly would trade back in a heartbeat with, any team that's coming up, right? That's like 1 or 2 picks, the same kind of trade Buffalo made last year to trade back from 32 to 33. So it's a cheap trade back.
Packers took Matthew Golden.
If there's a QB you like, you have to come up and get him. So nobody else gets him, and you get the 5th-year option.
Packers got Matthew Golden.
Maybe they really do hate receivers. Wow.
I love it. Let's just break all the freaking trends this year.
Hey, maybe you can get one of the Steelers could use like a slot
if
type
Damon
guy.
Worry goes to Brian Flores, it's a wrap. Detroit can kiss it goodbye. If Flores gets that unicorn, oh my God, that's going to be a devastating defense.
Yeah.
Are the Vikings up?
So who's up? Minnesota. So I like Emma to Minnesota. I think Minnesota needs offensive line help too, right?
Yeah.
So in my mock, I predicted that the Chiefs traded up with Minnesota so that the Chiefs could get Josh Simmons. Because what you're going to see here is, do we think at 25 Houston is going offensive line? Especially with all the
I would think so.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Right? So if Houston's going offensive line, if you like Josh Simmons, you have to come up and get him now. And Minnesota will trade out because they don't have very many picks.
You know what the nightmare scenario is? The Chiefs get Trevion Henderson. If he gets on that offense, good night.
So I think this is us also learning that the medicals didn't come back clean on Morrison or Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
I'm
I think
kind of surprised Will Johnson is still here. I really am.
He's
But
right. The
that's-
medicals must
it
have.
has to be medical, right?
Yeah, it has to be. He's
medical,
right.
Right.
100%.
So I'm like thinking of like who's picked 26? Is that Baltimore?
Hold on, I can tell you right
No,
now.
Baltimore's
it is
29.
The Rams are 26.
So the Rams, I could see taking an offensive tackle because I think their guy either just retired.
Yeah. I think the Rams are a dark horse for Shador right here.
Oh, I would agree with that too. So if you want a quarterback, this is a good spot to trade up, and if you want an offensive lineman, it's a good spot to trade up.
Yeah, I've been saying the Rams was a team I could see taking Shador.
Sit behind Stafford for a year.
I thought they'd trade up there.
Yeah. That could be really
So
great.
like my sneaky pick for Buffalo is actually going to be Mike Green here. He hasn't been picked yet, has he?
No, he hasn't.
No.
He's still sitting out there. Luther Burden's still sitting out there.
I think I kept saying I thought Luther Burden was falling to the second round.
Did something happen while upstairs? Somebody take Golden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packers.
Packers took Golden. Wow.
Yep.
I wonder if that means
That's a good fantasy pick too. Like that to me, that's a top 6 fantasy pick right there in your rookie drafts. Established offense. They need a downfield guy.
Yeah.
could Christian Watson be on the outs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's never healthy anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you could pluck any one of those wide receivers. They probably trade any of theirs now because they got a surplus, just not very good ones.
Well, I doubt they're trading for a wide receiver now. That they got
Well, and
No, I trade away a wide receiver.
I think the Packers are proof that if you put enough wide receiver 3s on the same team, it functions. Like, I don't think we would have called any of the guys that they had a wide receiver 1. So they had some wide receivers 3s that could be a wide receiver 2. And that works. You don't necessarily need the alpha like a CeeDee Lamb or a Justin Jefferson. You can make a room like Green Bay did, and like when Buffalo got rid of Diggs and Davis last year. The talk was, okay, you just need to build a room like Green Bay, right? And you can even see other teams trying to replicate it, but I think wide receiver is a position that you have a lot of misses on, right? Whereas like offensive line, you tend to have a higher hit rate. Wide receiver, that hit rate is lower. It's tougher to project.
I wonder. Minnesota's taking a little time here. I'm kind of surprised. I thought they would have sprinted the pick.
Maybe they're making a trade. Somber said, "Watch the Ravens get Eamon. That's kind of
that's a scary.
Do you think the Ravens traded up, or the Vikings? It says here the Vikings are making the pick.
They took Donovan Jackson, offensive lineman.
Nice, I love it.
That's a good pick.
That is a good pick. That's a very good pick.
I wonder if the Texans might cross us up here and go for the linebacker Campbell.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a top 20 pick too, right, Campbell?
There's an injury there.
Oh, is there? I didn't hear that.
Yes, torn labrum.
Oh.
So I do think Jihad Campbell is going to the Rams. They need a linebacker. McVay will be patient for 6 weeks if Campbell's going to miss 6.
Yeah.
I heard Campbell should be able to be there at training camp. He might miss the first part of it, but I don't think he's out for the preseason. He may not be ready to play week 1, but he'll be able to be in camp.
Texans got to take a offensive lineman, right?
I would hope so.
You'd think that that's what they would do, but Mike Green and Jihad Campbell are still on the board. I don't know that I've seen too many mocks with both of those guys this late. One of the between Mike Green, Jihad Campbell, Nick Emmanwori, one of them's probably a Raven, right?
Yeah,
man. Emmanwori and Kyle Hamilton lining up next to each other.
That's scary, man. It's not good.
Yeah, that might finally be the antidote to Mahomes.
And Xavier Watts. We should also be talking about Xavier Watts here a little bit. There's no guarantee that Emmanwori is safety too. Because I know plenty of people that had
Yeah,
watched 51.
Yeah, they're two totally different players in my opinion.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely. And I actually think the Ravens would prefer Watts over Emmett Ward.
Is Simmons still on the board?
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, that could be the Texans pick.
That probably
I
should.
don't know that. I don't know that the Texans could take the risk of a player not being ready, right? Because they need a tackle who's going to start now. I actually think the Texans will go Connerly, even if Simmons is on the board. I think the Texans would go Connerly. It's a better scheme fit.
No trades since that first big one.
Yeah.
Yep.
We thought everyone was saying fireworks, and it kind of fizzled out. I mean, that was a huge trade, but
All right, outside of the trade, what do we think is the most shocking pick so far? I know who I vote for.
I got to look back at the picks for a minute. Let's take a look.
I haven't seen a single pick that shocked me.
I thought John A. Barron to the Broncos. I had no idea they were interested in him.
I would say Tyler Booker to Dallas.
Tyler Booker, too.
I was about to
Based on
say
what the
Booker. I
needs
didn't think we were
Yeah.
expecting that.
Okay, so I don't think I would have taken an interior offensive lineman that high, but I remember seeing mocks where people had Booker going 10 to the Bears. Right?
What
And
about
that's no
Grant?
comment on the player, Jim. I think Booker is a wonderful player, and we were talking earlier. 5 years from now, we might look back and say he was one of the 5 best players in the draft. I just like what you're saying, value wise. I don't know that you.
Yeah.
can regard that.
So I'll agree. I think Booker was probably the biggest surprise, but the only thing that surprised me more would be the Jaguars giving up a 2026 first.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
Hunter.
good call. Yeah,
Because that's probably a top 10 pick. Like,
right.
I mean, maybe the Jaguars think they're a Travis Hunter away from not being mediocre, but I don't see the Jaguars overtaking the Texans or the Titans. I
What do
think
you
the
think
Titans are a playoff team.
What do you think of
You're
Grant?
right.
Well, Texans trade with the Giants.
that's what I saw that.
Oh,
Giants are in. This is Sanders
This-
or Dart.
Is this Jackson Dart?
It's got to be Jackson Dart.
No, I think it's Shadur.
We keep hearing that the Giants like Dart, though. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to find out very shortly.
Yeah, but they may have not expected Shadur to be here.
That's true.
They did
Good
some
point.
last minute work on Shadur
They did.
because maybe they foresaw this happening.
So,
oh,
hey, from a Steelers fuck you perspective, Hampton going to the Chargers, Shador goes to the Giants. Double fuck you to Russell Wilson and Najee Harris.
Right.
the Giants are trading up with the Houston Texans, 34.99 and a future third.
So they have second, third, and a future. Yeah, that's
All right, so we're about to get the answer to the question. I think one of our questions for the
yeah.
for the game.
Yep.
Dart or Sanders? Who goes first?
I think this is Shadur.
I'm starting to think it's Shador too.
But they're showing Jackson Dart on the TV right now.
Are
Uh-oh.
they really?
Yep.
It really
Jackson
puts the
Dart-
Browns.
Jackson Dart is a New York Giant. They're showing Dart on the TV right now.
It's Jackson Dart.
They said the Giants traded the 34th and 99th pick in 2026 to get pick 99 and a 2026 third. Sorry,
Yeah.
to get back into the first round.
It's Jackson Dart. They took.
Yeah, it's
And
Jackson Dart.
that's a great trade for the Texans. Let's talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah, it is.
that's working the board. The Texans, we know that they need to get 2 or 3 offensive linemen.
Yep.
They're going to be with that extra third. They're going to be able to get 2 offensive linemen,
Yeah.
a wide receiver, and one other position to help their team. So
Here's the question I have: did the Giants call the Steelers at all to move up and offer them something similar? That's 2026 asset plus an early second.
Yeah,
Maybe could have gotten
Yeah,
a little more.
a second, a third this year, and then a third next year, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, Dude, if
And
they
would
offer
Harmon have been there
that-
at 34? Possible.
Oh man, that's
That's what kind of aggravates me.
yeah. 34 would have been nice.
This is like the Giants getting Daniel Jones all over again. With Jackson Dart.
History will show that I was right on this one. When it's all said and done.
Here's another interesting thought on that. The Giants owners letting them give up future draft capital to get a quarterback. Right?
It is interesting.
Because
This
like,
is job
if
security
I
for
were-
Dayball and Shane, right?
Yeah, if I were the Giants owner, I would say you're not allowed to take a quarterback this year. Because if I fire you after the season,
Yep.
I want my new coach and my new GM to select the quarterback.
Yeah, this is Mara being a train wreck and letting, that whole organization. But Brian Daboll knows quarterbacks, so we'll see.
Yes, he does. He might be the next Steelers head coach.
Ooh,
We'll see about that.
shots fired.
I don't think Tomlin's ever going anywhere, but
So one of my other Steelers guys said that Tomlin's going to coach 2 more years, get Chuck Noll's Steelers coaching record, and then retire.
Yeah, we've kind of speculated that he's hanging on for Noel, and I think Rooney is hanging on for Noel too, because he's older than his dad and his grandfather were when they handed the team over.
Okay. And how many wins away is Tomlin from Noel? Is it enough to can he, if he has a really good year, could he get it this year?
he's 10 behind.
2 years.
Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's only 10.
Uh,
Mike Tomlin wins. We're going to our handy dandy pro football reference.
do the Rams take Shador?
I think so.
Let him sit behind whatchamacallit for one season.
Yeah, so this is an interesting situation, right? Because if Stafford plays really well, the Rams aren't going to sniff the top 15.
Yeah.
Whereas if Stafford gets hurt, is any backup quarterback going to be good enough for that team to not be drafted in top 10?
Has that contract ever been released for Stafford?
I
I
haven't
mean,
seen
I could
anything.
go to like over the cap and look it up, but I mean, it's a
I don't think it was ever updated, though. I don't think his contract's ever been let out there yet after he got that extension or whatever.
Oh, the Falcons traded up? The Falcons traded up?
Okay,
Interesting.
so Chuck Noll, 193 wins. Mike Tomlin, 183.
10.
so he needs an 11-win season to break it. I'm sure you guys will take an 11-win season.
Yeah, for sure. And not with Mason
Mason
Rudolph as
Rudolph?
quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, Falcons traded up. I wonder who they're trading up for. They got their edge rusher, right?
The Atlanta traded up with the Rams.
Yes, they did.
Oh, man.
Corner?
Interesting.
They
took the
want a
Michigan
defensive. They need a defensive tackle. They need a safety. They need a linebacker. They're trading up for Jihad Campbell.
Maybe.
Greg is saying Kaboli's reporting about Harmon's mother being on life support.
Damn, that's heartbreaking.
That is
that's tough,
heartbreaking.
man.
I mean, hopefully she recovers, but I mean, if she at least gets to hear that he got drafted, I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully that
That's
brings
tough.
some peace to her. Wow. That's nuts.
Harmon wouldn't have lasted at 34. I don't know that. I don't. Yeah, maybe not.
Oh, hey, probably wouldn't have gotten by Buffalo then, right, Jim?
Right.
You're talking Derek Harmon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm interested to see who the Falcons want to
I
trade
know,
up
me too.
because they were pretty. Yeah, they're about mid-second round, right?
Could this be Eamon Worry?
I think they need linebackers. So this could be Carson Schlesinger.
Oh yeah, that would be a really nice.
They need a linebacker.
Falcons
Schlesinger or Jihad Campbell.
Oh my God. Good, Dave. Good.
Oh.
You're reading exactly what I saw.
Falcons trade 46, 242, and a first rounder in 2026 for Rams picks 26 and 101.
They got a first rounder next year to trade back.
I love that. I love that deal for the Rams.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any team with 2 first-round picks next year has ammo to go up and get a quarterback.
I'm seeing all these teams trading in, and I'm thinking the Steelers could have done this and and gotten more draft capital next year,
bro.
I'm sorry.
But,
I wonder if it hurt.
We won't know what their offers were.
Yeah,
we'll never know. That's what sucks.
I wonder if anybody realistically thought the Steelers would pass on Shador or Harmon. Maybe they all felt like they're going to pick who they're going to pick. They ain't going to trade.
They have to make calls, though, right? I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's the more trades I see and all the assets these teams are getting, it's starting to really bug me. I mean, it really is.
And the question becomes, was Omar in charge? Because we know he loves to trade. Or was Tomlin in charge saying, nope, you're staying there?
We talked about it. The last time they traded down the first round, I found out was like 2001.
Casey Hampton.
Yeah, that was the last time they traded down in the first round.
So do you guys think Baltimore, let's assume that this pick is a linebacker for Atlanta. For Baltimore, do you think it's the other linebacker, Emin Watts, or is there an interior offensive lineman? I don't think so. Because both
Falcons got James Pierce. They got 2 edge rushers. Jeez. They are loading up.
Wow. Okay.
I don't hate that pick.
So Jihad Campbell is on the board for the Baltimore Ravens.
Ugh.
Let's hope they.
So is Emin.
I'll tell you what, the Falcons, man, the Falcons are loading up on defense. I like the Falcons pick so far. I mean, I know they gave up a ton, but like 2 edge rushers for a team that really struggled to create pressure. That's a good freaking pick.
Who did they take?
It's kind of like what the Eagles did in the secondary.
Pierce.
They needed corners. They went and got 2 corners. And the Falcons needed edge. They went and get 2 edge.
The more I see this fall, though, the more I think Mel Kiper might have a point. I think this is Dion backlash that's been festering for a long time.
Well, remember what they said about Shador in some of his interviews. He was turning teams off by being a little arrogant.
I don't know if we can buy into any of that, but
well, he's still on the board. And unless something crazy happens, he's not going in the first round.
No.
Luckily, my brother-in-law, who's a huge Giants fan, I'm guessing he is not ecstatic about that pick of Jackson Dart.
I mean, I think if you're the Giants, you have to go up and do that. You know that you need a different kind of quarterback room. If you're Dable and Shane, you may get 2 years, but you're not getting a third, right? So meaning that they do you want to go into 2026 with Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson? You know that if you're staying, you need your guy. So they have to go up and get him.
And Dable wasn't there when they took Daniel Jones, right? He came the year after.
Correct.
I think 2 years.
2 years after. So
Jones was the first extension that they gave.
Yeah.
But Dable was there for an extension.
Before they gave Barkley one.
Yeah.
Just a dark horse to throw out here. I don't know if Baltimore did any work on him. Luther Burden might be a sneaky pick here.
That's a good point, man.
Doesn't
like.
That's best case scenario in my opinion.
Yeah,
let them get a toxic dude in that room. Go ahead. Lamar can throw a ball downfield, and Luther Burden can stop running like he does in college.
He did do a little bit of that, but he is super talented too. If they got through to him, that would have.
So something to pay attention to in that trade that just happened for Atlanta. One of the teams gave up an extra third. That wasn't just a move up. They moved up and they one of the teams got a third that actually kind of surprised me.
Who was the one who got the?
Yeah,
third?
I have to figure out what the trade was. I'm looking at a group chat right now as opposed to what the actual trade was.
Garofalo said just Falcons trade 46 and 242 and a first rounder in 2026. Oh, the Rams got a third rounder. They got pick 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Rams now have 3 third-round picks?
Yeah.
Or they had to give up one of those third. That's what I mean. I think the Rams had to give up a third-round pick to get the first next year.
Yeah, they did. They had to give up one of their thirds
that
to
was
get
the
it.
part that threw me for a loop because Atlanta didn't have a lot of picks. So that actually, yeah, I just think that's a really good deal.
Greg, this is a good point, buddy. I think there might be some validity to that they went out of their way not to take a quarterback in the first round. I don't think that's the only reason. I mean, the more I think about the Harmon pick, look, if he's healthy, I mean, he ain't Joe Green, but he's a long-term piece, and I'm not. I'm coming around more to David's way of thinking on it. That okay, if he's healthy, that's not a terrible pick. But
No, I don't think it's a terrible pick. It's just underwhelming, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
I think it's a solid pick. I think it's a solid pick. I'm not saying it's something to jump for joy for, but it ain't nothing to sneeze at.
No, and I think like one of the how do I want to say this? So if we go to like revisionist history, do you guys remember the draft where Von Miller, Marcel Darius, and J.J. Watt came out?
Yeah.
Right? And that draft was considered loaded with linemen, similar to the way that this one is, right?
Okay.
Right? So did we know that J.J. Watt was going to be better than insert like Marcel Darius? I think Cam Hayward came out that same year. Right? That was all the same draft class.
Right.
And
I think you still go Cam, honestly.
And that's what I mean is that draft had so many different flavors. But look at like J.J. Watt was probably like a Hall of Fame career, right? Von Miller, Hall of Fame career. And somehow Buffalo drafted Marcel Darius in there, right?
That's what concerns me.
Marcel Darius wasn't bad. He had 10 sacks as a defensive tackle.
Right.
Right? It just he wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
Right? But the reason why I point that out is that I think Derek Harmon and or Walter Nolan can be the 2 best defensive tackles in this draft class, and they were not the first defensive tackles drafted.
Yeah.
Right? There were 4 defensive tackles drafted ahead of Harmon, but I don't know that we can sit here and predictively say that Harmon is going to be the 5th best. Harmon has a ceiling that if he hits it, you're looking at possibly the best defensive tackle draft.
Yeah.
Right? In a loaded draft class, you may have gotten the best. You won't know for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But there's a ceiling with his athletic ability, and you can use him in more than one way. Kenneth Grant or Tyleik Williams are more one-dimensional players. Even Walter Nolan is one-dimensional. His dimension's just different. Derek Harmon, you have some positional flexibility with how you're going to use him.
Ravens got Malachi Starks, safety out of.
Ooh, that's a good player. I'm just surprised he's the first one.
Right.
Starks hadn't gone yet.
I'm not surprised that he was the first safety taken. Honestly, he's probably the best.
Yeah, his tape's better than Memori for sure.
I mean, he's probably I don't know Xavier Watts maybe, but I think he's probably got the best ball skills out of the 3.
Yeah, and that's what I mean is that I think the Ravens would have either been in on Starks or Watts. I don't think they would have been as in on Memori for what they need because they need the guy that can play over the top to let Hamilton, move around the way that he does. So that's what I would think. But some people were saying, Memori would fit to Baltimore. But nearly everybody else I talked to with Baltimore, they were more often mocking Makuba or Watts as opposed to Memori if given the chance.
Lions are on the clock. They probably go defense.
Nick Scourton. To me, this feels like Nick Scourton or Luther Burden.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's wide receiver is kind of a sneaky need for the Lions.
I don't think they're going to extend Jameson Williams. So I think
Send
this,
him in.
this
Send
is gonna
him
be
in.
trenches.
Send him in.
Jim, just so you know, there's a running thing on this show about Jameson Williams.
I want him.
Somebody put out that our one of our favorites, Nick Hall of Fame Herbig, that they would trade him for Jameson Williams, and the chat and some of the hosts have not.
I don't think the Lions. I think the Lions say no on that.
So let's talk about this because there were rumors for a Jameson Williams trade. Jameson Williams trade on draft day. Buffalo was in on him the year he came out. I think my trade proposal was Buffalo trades pick 30 and next year's second for Jameson Williams, this year's third and next year's third.
I wouldn't give a fourth.
Anything that gets Jameson Williams to Buffalo would be incredible because that would be
right. And
That'd be dynamite.
And somebody was like, Jim, you must have that trade value chart memorized. You're basically trading a first round pick back to a third, and you're trading a second round pick back to a third, and you pick up an asset like Williams that you're going to have in your roster for a year. And if he doesn't fit into the locker room, you get a comp pick for him.
1,000 yards receiving last year, 7 touchdowns, 17.3 yard average.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think Josh Allen could outthrow him.
No.
Not him.
So I would love Jameson Williams. I would love for Buffalo to trade pick 30 for Jameson Williams. I'm just saying.
That could really be an interesting fit. It really could.
Guys, Bleacher Report had Will Johnson as their 5th ranked best player on the big board.
Yeah, he said
like
it's got to be injuries.
I feel like
medicals, right? You have a tape grade, and then you have a different grade when medicals come back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Right.
That's crazy.
Could he fall all the way to the Eagles? Could they just fall into him? I didn't like his tape before he got hurt, honestly. I mean, I thought he was good. I loved
They don't really need a corner.
I was going to say
they drafted 2 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Darius Slade was the outside corner. And we think those 2 guys could be quarter 1 and 2. But hey, you bring in Will Johnson, now you got the same flexibility, and they're all young on rookie contracts.
The Eagles are capable of anything.
They are, literally.
And I would bet whatever they do is right because they haven't been wrong much in the last couple of years.
I feel like that.
If they keep just drafting Georgia play, right?
Right.
Like,
that's a good way to go about it.
They stuck with what they knew, right? So if they find a coach maybe that has a style that they like at Georgia or whatever, they can focus on that. Because I've noticed Buffalo does that with late round picks. They really like Virginia Tech and Baylor. They have really good relationships with those coaching staffs. Same with University of Pittsburgh, right? Dane Jackson went there. DeMar Hamlin did. And Alex. I think he's on the Patriots now. Alex Austin. All 3 of those guys are University of Pittsburgh guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like you find a school, and is Dave Wannstedt the coach there?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
There's a couple coaches now. I can't think of who the Pitt coach is.
Pat Pitt? It's Pat Narduzzi.
That's it.
Okay. So do we think Mike Green gets taken? Is Mike Green going to fall to the Chiefs?
I'm worried Trevion Henderson falls to the Chiefs because that offense will be freaking ridiculous. It already is,
but from a grading standpoint, do you have Mike Green is generally higher, right?
The Lions need an edge rusher. Does he go to Detroit?
And so would Detroit have Scourton or Green higher?
That's a good question.
I think Scourton is, to me, this could be Scourton. This could be Bo.
I heard Mike Green had some pretty serious concerns.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, how many people do you know that are accused of sexual assault twice?
Yeah.
I'm just, right?
Hey, just a quick update on our draft Bass game. Pull this
I'm
up,
already
share the
fucked.
screen.
I missed my first round pick.
This is our top 3. My brother, Brett Quinn, has 58, and he's a fucking Cowboys fan. And then Adam, Vaughn, and Stacy are all tied with 54. And Stacy also won our March Madness contest,
Nice.
so he's right in there.
Lions
And-
took Tyleek Williams.
Okay,
Really?
I
That's a
can see
tackle.
that.
Wow.
And
I didn't
again,
think he was going to get in the first round.
Me neither.
this is something that, like, for all of those 32-person mock drafts that we did, like, this is a testament to how important defensive tackles are and how
guess so.
rare they are to see guys like we've seen drafted. Like, I'm Alfred Collins to Buffalo at 30.
Really?
Really?
Yes, because
It
they're
seems
not
high.
going to be left. By pick 56,
Yeah.
they won't be left.
Okay.
Like,
Who does
and
Washington take?
Buffalo needs to probably come out of this draft with 2.
So I'd make what, 5 in the first?
We've already had 5, so Williams is
Be
Be
6.
6?
for
Wow.
6. So it's Graham, Nolan, Grant, Harmon, Tyleek Williams. 5. Did
Yeah,
I
it's been
skip
5.
somebody?
Graham,
I
Grant.
wonder if Washington goes Connerly here.
I like that.
Although I could, I've heard a lot of buzz about running backs to Washington. Maybe not this early, but I'm surprised they're out on Brian Robinson. I think he's pretty good.
He's a little older, right?
Yeah, but I think it's just you. First of all, a different head coach and GM took Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Second, like once a running back hits year 4, like I'm already like James Cook is only at year 3, and I'm like, okay, 1 or 2 more years, but I want a new guy.
Right.
So with running backs, we can't look at them like, well, they're in year 4. We don't need one. Running backs, like you need a new one every year, right? Just to add to the back of the depth chart.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially if you're not tandeming.
So what running backs do you guys think Pittsburgh's going to target later in the draft? Like I like Damian Martinez to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Bob likes Martinez too. I like DJ Giddens.
Another good player. I
Both.
would
I like
put
both.
Sean Judkins if he falls that far.
I don't think he goes that
How,
far.
No,
well, right, 'cause
I don't think so
Pittsburgh's
either.
in round 3. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Tootin's a guy to look for. Jaden Blue be another guy to look for.
those guys both came in for visits. Yeah.
RJ Harvey is a nice player.
Harvey
Yeah.
came in for a visit too. He's another one.
That's the guy from UCF.
Yeah.
Very good player. I know. Martinez, because of the style, and we have the smaller backs. Dave made a really good point about this earlier. Is Pittsburgh likes big backs, and I think based on what's left, I mean, yeah,
Ollie
Caleb
Gordon.
Johnson. I think Martinez is just a better player.
I think you're probably right. Better than Ollie Gordon, but
Martinez or
He's not
Giddens, I'm
Ollie
happy.
Gordon.
Tootin, I mean, if they get him in the later rounds, I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah,
he's got
Tootin's
a
probably like
problem
a
too.
4th round guy.
He's only
I mean,
5'8". I
Jaden
found
Blue
He's-
would
he's
fit
small.
right in-
yeah.
Yeah, Jaden
I
Blue
just
would
I,
fit
lo-
right
I
in
love
with
his
the
speed.
lollipop.
I love his speed.
Yeah, he's athletically he tested off the charts, but
So
Yeah.
do we think this is Will Johnson?
who are we at?
Would a
Washington?
playoff team expect to get a talent?
And
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they were
Good
not
point.
they were not happy with Lattimore.
yeah, they weren't.
Yeah.
He struggled to get on the field.
I think it was more injury related, but
And and I think if there was a trade, it would have been announced already. But any of these trades, somebody could be coming up for Shadur.
Shador finally off the board, 9th round, pick 541.
it really, it sets up if he doesn't go. I mean, first of all, the
Browns.
story all night. But is it the Browns? Did they go Milroe? Because supposedly they love Milroe.
Yes.
Supposedly everybody does.
But I would also say Shedeur was a really good scheme fit for the Browns offense.
I'm terrified he goes to Cleveland because I have a feeling it'll be Ben in reverse.
No.
We're going to Tyler Shuck as Brandon Whedon. They're going to get Ben and with Shedeur Sanders, and then we're going to have to eat it for the next 10 years.
You just compared Shedeur Sanders to Ben Roethlisberger. You should have your Steelers card taken away.
No, not the actual player.
Suspended for 3 weeks.
Not the actual player.
I know what you're
no,
saying.
he's nothing like Ben. Yeah, but
I don't see the threat at all. Let him have Shedeur.
It's you know what? It's really the exact opposite story of Ben's. Cleveland passed Ben, and Ben harbored it and stuck it to Cleveland every chance he got.
Until they actually hit on one that makes us suffer, I'm not going to worry about it with them. I mean, technically they had it, but they let him go.
There's not a lot of GMs that even get the opportunity to hit on 3 quarterbacks. Right? Like, usually you're around and you have a good one. You last for the good one, and then you realize the next one wasn't all that good, and you better get out.
Josh Connolly to the Commanders.
I love that pick. I was mocking offensive linemen to the Commanders. I had Commanders fans telling me I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, you build a team from offensive tackle. After you get your quarterback, you get an offensive tackle. So I don't care who you have there. It wasn't somebody that you drafted.
Right.
You got to get somebody that's going to be there for the same amount of time as Jaden Daniels. That's a great pick. I love Connerly. There's about to be a run on offensive tackles. There is about to be a run on corners, and we still have Milroe and Sanders on the board.
Omar said in an interview that they had a list of players they would not trade back from, and Harmon was on that list. Okay, Omar, you better be right.
I tried to tell you guys Monday. That's Omar's dude.
I wonder if Buffalo, with Luther Burden on the board and Jaden Higgins, if they go there.
No, Buffalo's going to be in on the faster wide receiver. So Burden maybe, Higgins no.
Higgins ran a 4.3
mid 4.4s, yeah.
Mid 4.4s, yeah.
And it just, to me, it feels like Buffalo is in on more day 3 wide receivers. Buffalo, I'm looking at Trey Amos, Savon Ravel, but Will Campbell to Buffalo is about to happen, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he can pass.
Like, Buffalo has the luxury. We have Trey White and Dane Jackson. He doesn't need to play week 1. This is Will Johnson. I'm going to go check my Bills Twitter, but I think this is Will Johnson.
Oh, man. The rich get richer in that case.
Players that good don't fall to Buffalo, right? Like, that's going to be Brandon Bede's entire logic.
This could be like Cam Hayward to the Steelers back in the day because they got him 30th or 31st that year.
You think the Steelers go running back 3rd round? You think they go secondary?
You guys need a slot corner and a boundary corner, right?
Yeah, well,
we don't draft slot corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have Darius Slay that can keep him afloat for a year, I guess. But they could definitely use somebody behind him.
Yeah, true.
I think it's
the
make or break here
Dallas
for
has
Troy
3 offensive linemen named Tyler on their starting lineup. I'm sorry for
the
interrupting.
equipment guy to alphabetize. Yeah, Jihad Campbell's kind of a low-key pick. Mike Green is kind of a low-key pick. I mean,
all 3 of those guys would be really good picks. I'll take any of those. And my instinct is this is actually going to be Mike Green. I think the locker room could handle it. But I think of those 3 players. Well, but Campbell's like a top 7 film grade.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised he's there. I just am.
I don't know that I've done any mock where those 3 were still here.
Yeah, I'm really there's a chance Barron's the only corner in the first round. I cannot remember a first round where that happened.
Would the Bills take a running back and trade Cook? I know he's been asking for. Did he get his contract settled?
No. Well, we could trade Cook, but we're not taking a running back here. We already have an all-pro running back as a starter. That's just not the right use of resources. Bean's not against running backs in round 1, but it's just not this year.
Man, KC.
It's going to happen.
Andy Reid is if he gets Burden, if anybody can turn Luther Burden around. Well, I've heard a lot of Mason Taylor buzz to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I heard a little buzz for him to Philly too. McShay kept saying he'd be good for Philly. The Bills are taking a sweet time. Are they trading down?
I agree. If for the Steelers, we almost have to go running back in the 3rd. I mean, unless something bizarre happens.
I still think they can wait. I don't think they're going to be in a hurry. I think they feel like Jalen Warren's good enough to be a starting running back. Whether we think so or not, I think they think he is a starting running back. I don't know.
If you don't get him in the 3rd, I think then you're because of the archetype.
Maxwell Harrison, maybe.
Oh, do you think he's still around in the 3rd?
No, Maxwell Harrison here to Buffalo.
Oh, to Buffalo, yeah, maybe.
Like, I'm sorry for interrupting you guys. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, you're good, brother.
I'm looking at like the best available list, but nobody's tweeted out what they're doing, even though it says the pick is in.
I see Harrison more in the slot. I mean, he could play a little bit of boundary corner, but I feel like he's better in the slot. If you're gonna get a boundary corner at this point, as much as I love Ravel, you got to go Trey Amos because he's healthy and he's polished.
Drum roll, please.
They had taken their time with this pick.
They're probably sitting there going, "How are these guys all still here?" I wonder if it makes you doubt your scouting at that point too. Is like, hey, we never thought this guy would be here. He was too good, and then all of a sudden, well, this guy shouldn't be here, and this guy shouldn't be here.
You know what's pick really surprised me is Amarian Hampton to the Chargers. I didn't expect running back to them.
I mean, he fits Jim Harbaugh to a T. I mean, if Jim Harbaugh created a running back in a lab, I think it'd look a lot like Amarian Hampton.
I didn't see Kenneth Grant going as early as he did.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for all that. that broke my heart tonight.
Several people texted Chris Greer that was their guy. So there were a lot of GMs that were looking for Grant to be right in that range.
So, do we think Trevion's the next one off the board? At running back?
It's got to be, right? He's going to Kansas City, and he's going to go bananas.
Oh, if he goes to Kansas City in that offense, you might as well chalk up 1,500 yards.
It's going to happen. Andy Reid's going to have a field day with him.
That's going to get disgusting.
And the league allowed it to happen.
Maxwell Harrison, I got it.
You got it?
Took me 7 or 8 guesses. Okay, so this is interesting, right? Because Harrison was invited to the draft. So there was likely going to be a team that was going to take him. And I was like, okay, it's probably like one of the last 5 teams.
Eagles just traded to be number 31.
Wait, what?
Who do they want?
I got.
What were they? They went
Trey,
32 to
Eagles-
31?
Eagles on the clock at 31.
Yep. Mason Taylor. If the Eagles traded up, they didn't want KC to get the tight end.
Huh.
Because they obviously it's going to be a position that both KC and Philadelphia would target. And to me, that combination is tight end.
Could be. Could be.
I
they
saw
took Harrison
Loveland.
over
I
Tom.
saw Warren. I agreed they were first round talents. I don't think any of these other tight ends are first round talents. I just don't.
Emin Worry?
To the Eagles?
Like, that's not Howie doesn't typically take safeties. To me, this would be a trench player. But they definitely didn't want KC to pick their player. So to me, it's like a position that they thought that KC would take. Offensive tackle, Ursery?
But they traded with Philly, so that's
what I mean. So
That's
KC
weird.
Philadelphia thought it was important enough to take the player so that Kansas City could not.
You know, they're trying to replace Mekhi Becton, so offensive line may not be.
I don't know if there's a
as far
guard left that would be
In the
this
first
high.
round?
Yeah.
but then Mekhi Becton was a tackle they converted. So would they convert Simmons to guard?
Josh Simmons, left tackle to replace Lane Johnson.
Maybe.
And they do like to stack those positions. They talk about that
And
draft.
they don't need him to play immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they thought KC would take him, so they had to trade up to go get it.
And Kansas City doesn't have to worry about anybody taking Trevion Henderson because, Philly's not going to. So they could take a one pick back and
Yeah, depending what they pick up.
If they get him and Xavier Worthy, it's gonna be
164.
disgusting.
it's a wrap.
164, is that a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick?
I think it's a late 5th.
Should be, yeah.
So for a late 5th, they moved up one spot.
That might be an early 6th. 5 times 32,
150. Yeah, that's a
60.
sixth.
160. Yeah, it's
That's
an
not
early
even
6th.
a player that's going to make the team for either of them.
It's a bizarre trade. Because if
Is Somber saying Campbell
What?
went to the Eagles? Is that official?
I haven't seen it yet, but it could be.
What number was it?
I do like the Jihad Campbell to the
164?
Eagles. They need a
It's a
guy
fifth.
to be behind
Fifth.
Zach Bond.
Is Buffalo's need more in the slot than on the boundary?
It's actually boundary. We have an all-pro slot. Taron Johnson's our slot.
That Hairston pick doesn't make sense then.
Yeah, Eagles took Jihad Campbell. Eagles don't usually take linebackers. That's bizarre.
I mean, they had Bond who kind of came out of nowhere, but
Yeah, they just
Wonder-
re-signed Bond, too.
that must mean they have doubts about N'Kobe Dean.
I would say they had a player that was really highly graded, and they wanted to make sure they got him.
Yeah.
Because what if
Right.
somebody else were trading up with Kansas City to get him,
Yeah.
and it was only going to cost them a 6th round pick, and they get a 1st round grade on their board?
All right, let's say a little prayer the Chiefs don't draft Trevion Henderson.
For me, the Chiefs, it's Josh Simmons.
Probably.
Is he still on the board?
Yeah.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Who would have thought Will Johnson falls out of the 1st round? As
It's
much
gotta-
as I don't like him and disparaged him,
It's
during
medicals.
the process,
It's got to be medicals. Has to be. And I'm even a little surprised Shador didn't get picked in the 1st round.
He was
I
like
thought
the
somebody-
wild card the whole time. Like, I mean, you could see him getting picked early. You could see him falling all the way out. Like, he was always going to be the most interesting prospect in the entire draft.
Yeah, what is
I mean,
Jalen Milroe doing at the draft? What is he doing it?
You could make an argument to me that the second round of this draft might be better than the first round of this draft.
I would agree with you. It's going to go a lot faster.
For value, I mean, for the picks that you're getting, value picks, I would definitely agree.
I think
the second and third round of this draft is where everything's going to be made. Like, teams are going to fill out their rosters with these second and third round guys.
Oh, and I think that's going to stretch into round 4. Like, I think one of the things that makes this draft class pretty special is that teams are going to be able to draft linemen in round 4 that are going to be starters within the first, 20 games of their career. Right? Like,
offensive lineman or defensive lineman?
I would say both, but more on the defensive line side. But there's still going to be reasonable depth in the interior offensive line, like the Luke Kandras, the Dylan Fairchilds of the world. Those guys are probably going in round 4, and they're going to be starters for a long time.
One pick left.
I appreciate you guys having me on, so thank you for
No problem, man.
Oh, thanks for joining.
No, love having you on.
We got Darius Alexander still on the board.
That's another one that would supposed to be a sneaky.
Yeah, Alfred Collins.
Darius Alexander could be a Cheeks pick.
Yeah, kind of a late Omar Norman Lott. A lot of people like him. Joshua Farmer still on the board. I mean, there are some nice defensive players. JJ Pegas, my guy, I like him.
Future fullback, Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think Buffalo's next second round pick is going to be Joshua Farmer. I think he's going to go.
And a hell of a player, right there. Somber's guy in the chat, Ty Robinson, is still on the board. Although, I mean, he's more of a fourth round guy, maybe even a fifth. My guy, I love Tonka. I think he'll be around in the 5th, 6th round.
My mock draft is fucked. I didn't. Now that Derek.
Oh yeah, mine is in shambles.
I heard a point today. I guess I think it's Charles Campbell is the guy who was the most accurate mock drafter last year, and he only got 40% of the draft.
So there's a contest called the Huddle Report, and a lot of us are on mock there, and they rank them.
Yeah, I've heard this. Yeah,
and my Huddle Report mock is shot. And like you're going up against the Kyle Krabs and the everybody else in the world. Trevor Sikkema does pretty good in it usually. So,
man, oh man,
come on, Kansas City, you got to know who you want at this point. Unless they field and trade offers too.
Somber's worried that the Bills are going to get Justin Wally. It was kind of a late sneak-in visit for the Steelers.
Yeah.
At this point, Buffalo will probably take a second corner. I'm thinking, if you look at who Buffalo scouted, Noel Williams or some other California player is going to be drafted by Buffalo. So one of the guys that I work with in the draft space, he literally tracks the scouts. So when the scout shows up to a college game, he tracks it. Buffalo doesn't usually scout Cal, and Cal was the highest scouted school. So you have to say, well, is that Noel Williams? Is it Craig Woodson, the safety?
It's probably Williams, right? He's got to be their highest prospect.
And then Teddy Buchanan. But Buffalo has a sneaky need at safety, right? Because we have Rapp, who is being paid like a safety 3, but he's our starting safety. We drafted Bishop, and then the other safeties on the roster on 1-year deals. And Buffalo, if you look at the 6 highest ranked safeties, Buffalo's highest scout scores were to 5 of their schools. Like they were all over Starks, Emamori, Bowman, Watts. They were going to all the games. So they were probably, if they were at Cal, were they scouting Noah Williams or were they the late round safety? So
Pick is in, apparently.
I haven't seen it yet, but I keep
trying to refresh this thing. So. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, Pete Prisco's got some draft grades up already. Apparently, wants to go to bed.
That was quick, right?
Yeah. Travis Hunter, he gave an A+. Cam Ward's a B-. Abdul Carter an A, no surprise. Mason Graham for the Browns, only gave him a C+. Lowest grade of the round was for Carolina picking Tet McMillan with a C. Colston Loveland gets an A. Let's jump down to the Steelers. Gave B- for Harmon, a need pick, but
I gave that one an A+.
Marion Hampton a B. I'm surprised they gave him an A, Matthew Golden, but Jackson Dart, C-. I'm sorry, that is the lowest grade of the first round.
What's the difference between a C and a C-?
Right.
What?
Right.
Really? Are we going to get that picky?
Former D students will tell you everything.
Jesus, Kansas City.
James Pierce at a B. Tyleek Williams only got a C+. Max Harrison gets an A. Maybe
Josh
it's just
Simmons.
me. I prefer big.
You called it. Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons. Man, there are some really good players on the board early tomorrow.
Yeah, there are.
Don't have a second round pick.
Or will they?
I saw somebody did a thing on grading these drafts too early, and they showed an example of someone killed the Seahawks for the Wagner Russell Wilson draft. Like Russell Wilson doesn't fit their system. Bobby Wagner's not going to be good, and there was somebody else their left tackle that they drafted. They gave him FFF. It's way too early. The day of, the day after. People still do it. I mean, I might even do it myself, but take it with a grain of salt.
My grading system is the same every year. So every team starts at a C, and you either earn the B or you earn the D. So you start with a C. If you get 2 starters, you bump the grade up to a B. And then if you get 3 starters, you bump it up to an A.
Yeah.
And then if any of those guys becomes like an all-pro, you jump 2 grades. So like if you have a draft and you get 1 all-pro, you should get an A. Right? Like your C goes to an A. 1 all-pro. You get 2 starters, 2 starters is a B, 3 starters would be an A. So 3 starters equals 1 all-pro. Kind of thing. And I evaluate, and I can evaluate that at year 2. I can look at the same draft class and evaluate it at year 3. And it's the same grading scale. Doesn't change. So
any last thoughts on the Steelers pick? It's been kind of a long night. We've had steady 40 people watching with us. We appreciate you guys sticking through the whole thing.
Yeah, active on chat. And remember, tomorrow we're going to be getting you guys involved. We've got it perfected. We're going to put a link in chat where you can come on and talk and, share your thoughts on where we were.
Quick hitters. You're going to get about 2 minutes. Tell us your point of view and what you think of the Steelers pick and who you think they're going to pick in the 3rd round. We got time to kill tomorrow. Steelers won't pick till like 10 o'clock at night. So we'll have some time to kill.
Yeah.
Harmon's the pick. TBD, I guess. Could be great. Could be so. I guess what bothers me the most is all the trade down stuff that possibly could have been had. That's the only drawback, I think.
Got to say congrats to David for nailing it with the first round pick in the mock draft. So
Dave got quiet.
1 for 1.
You got in your inner self there after a couple of beers.
I'm watching the Pirates give up a 3-0 lead. They're
I'm surprised the F-bombs have been flowing.
Yeah,
4-3.
and for those of you who don't know, David has the Hodgepodge of Nothingness podcast about the Pirates. It's a nice misery fest. So
Welcome to the misery, literally. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Trent. Thanks to the draft professor for coming on. Thanks to Joe Coward, too, for coming on earlier on today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, please, like, subscribe, all that nonsense.
everybody get some sleep for round 2.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
Was that from the 80s?
It's probably the 70s.
This is disappointing as hell.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Probably worth the Google.
Saw that coming.